Recording in progress.
Okay, John.
All right, this is a public meeting of the Wellfleet Selectboard, Tuesday, May 5th, 2026. The time is now 6:02 p.m. And here at the Wellfleet Adult Community Center and online. And as per our normal procedures, we will begin with announcements and public comments. Public comments are limited to no more than 3 minutes per speaker. The board will not deliberate or vote on any matter raised solely during announcements and public comments. And with that, do we have any announcements on the board?
Ryan has his hand up.
Just
Ryan?
quickly, Mr. Chair?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, actually, I have two then. Well, three. The first is, knowing that I'm participating remotely. I know I've been to a few meetings in person last week or so, but I drove up to Boston and back, and that my back needs a break. So I'm participating remotely today. The second is just to remind people of the town meeting that's coming up on May 11th at 6 p.m. And then also the annual town election on Tuesday, May 19th from 12 to 7. That's it.
Okay, thanks, Brian. Anyone else on the board? Anyone in town administration? Sheila, we're just at the announcement stage. Do you got anything?
Oh, I also want to thank the forum
Okay.
for
Where is the-
last night and the Meet the Candidates night. The pre-town meeting is an invaluable service that the forum provides to the town, and an ability to ask questions about the warrant articles prior to them being discussed on the floor of town meeting. So just again, thank you to the forum, and also thank you to the new members of the forum. I know that Sheila said that they're transitioning in some new members, and I just want to thank them for their efforts as well. So thank you.
Okay, so what's that? Okay, well, so no one in town administration?
No.
Okay. Does anyone in the room have a public comment? Dan?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Ryan already said about 3/4 of the things I was going to say, so rather than repeat that, I just want to, one thing that I forgot to say in my opening remarks last night was that the registrars will be at the elementary school from 5 o'clock on, so I'm going to ask people to do their best to try to get to the school early, again, so that there isn't a long line out the door at 6 o'clock, and we can try to start as early as possible. And again, recommend that people carpool, try to get there early. And again, we will have 2 vans. The DPW arranged for 2 drivers, and Becky and Suzanne offered the vans from the ACC and from the rec department to be able to shuttle people back and forth from Town Hall, which is a fairly quick trip. So if there's a parking crunch up at the school, we have made the provision for people. And again, people could carpool and get there early. That's really all I ask. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dan. And someone else in the room?
Hi, good evening. My name is Adrienne Brewer, and I'm one of the cemetery commissioners, and I just want to announce the annual cemetery spring cleanup is May 16th, Saturday, 9 to noon. It's not rain or shine, it's drizzle or shine. If it's pouring, it's canceled. It's a lot of fun, so just please bring, gardening gloves, any small tools. There's a lot of branches, a lot of twigs to be picked up. We'll just be doing a little bit of pruning, and so hope to see you. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
She's here.
Mr. Chair, just quickly,
Wait,
it's about the last item. if that's okay with Chris.
Fine with me.
Okay, go ahead, Ryan.
All right. So, for anybody that hasn't done it before, the cemetery cleanup is basically in the spring. You go around, collect, clean up the town cemeteries, collect the various fallen branches and things of that nature. It's actually very interesting. And I encourage anybody, particularly if it's a nice day or if it's not, if they have time in their schedule, to take advantage of it. Cemeteries are, both of our cemeteries are historical cemeteries, and it is a form of living history. So thank you. And thank you for the Cemetery Commission and anybody who does it.
All right, thanks. Chris?
Hello, Chris Merle, speaking for myself. I attended the candidates night this week, and it only went till about 8:30, so there was lack of a amount of questions that were allowed to be asked, so I didn't get to ask my question. But Ryan had gone back and forth with one of the townspeople about the allowable up to AMI, and I've been following the Maurice's Planning Group meetings for well over a year now, and on several occasions they've admitted that there is no funding source for up to 200% AMI, and Ryan kept on saying that the person was wrong who would challenge that in the audience. And I just wanted to sort of, through you to Ryan, since we have a very important town meeting coming up, if he has any information that actually proves that is accurate. I believe he misled the voters with his opinion. There is, to date, from what I've looked into, there is no funding sources up to 200% AMI for affordable housing. And one of the other things that I brought up at an earlier occasion, there's also no funding sources for seasonal workers either, whatsoever, at any AMI. It's just not, there is nothing for that. So I just wanted to bring those couple things up. And the other thing I wanted to bring up is I was surprised that Brian, being the liaison to the Maurice's Planning Group for the selectmen, has not brought you guys up to date beyond things are just moving forward over the last couple of years. And I think that that's why people were upset that there's sort of a lack of transparency. I think that they've kept it too close-knit and not enough questions. They allow questions at the beginning of the meeting, but you never get answers. And that's the same as this board here, but I'm just saying, like, it'd be nice if at some point, if people bring their concerns to light, that someone actually, sometimes you address them, but I'm just saying, like, if you can't get a question answered, how are you supposed to be part of the community to move things forward in a productive way? So that's not towards you, that's towards the Maurice's Planning Group. It's just kind of frustrating. I think that there's been a lot of lack of transparency up until recently, where people actually are starting to educate themselves on the plan and who it's going to benefit. So I would just like, if he's going to make statements like that, I'd like him to be able to back them up, and I don't believe he can. So at town meeting, if he could bring that information, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris. Anyone else in the room? Jude?
Just very quickly as a response, Mr. Chair.
We're not doing back and forth on
All right. Just
we are not doing back and forth on public comment.
I'm not going to discuss Chris's, but just so everybody is aware, I provided the information on that to the board last week.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair. To follow up what Chris just said, I have a lot of questions that I didn't ask last night because they weren't particularly about the articles on the warrant. But I still have questions, specifically about Maurice's. I'll just focus on that and then leave this with you guys. I emailed it to you, Tom.
Yep.
And it'd be great to have answers to them so I don't have to ask them on town meeting floor. But the 225 that was going to be appropriated to Maurice's to fund their necessary fund to do things, that was pulled from the budget because Ryan said that they didn't need it, but I didn't hear that discussion at the Maurice's campground meeting or in any other forum, so I wondered how that came about. Similarly, when he was speaking last night about the revenue from Maurice's, not going into the local revenue, but free cash. I traced that back to April 2nd of '24, when there was apparently a discussion about moving those receipts to somewhere else. So I listened to that meeting, and it wasn't in that meeting, so I'm just wondering how that came about as well. So I'll just leave that there. But the other comment I wanted to make was about town meeting itself. Danny said the other day that non-voters would be directed to the other room upon entering. And in your 20-minute, very thoughtful conversation about town meeting and where we should do it, I didn't recall that being part of it. And if indeed the second room is just as good as the main room, I'm wondering why, non-voters are going to be automatically directed to the other room and how that decision came about.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'll pass them around.
I'll just add that it's because I can't email the town that I have to communicate in this way. I'm not allowed to email town employees.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else in the room who has a comment?
Thank you. Tim Sayre. I came up to thank the forum for putting on the Meet the Candidates night. We appreciate it. There was a lot of questions that were asked. Afterwards, there was people that came up and asked other questions so that we could tell them our positions on different things. So again, I'd like to thank you for putting that on. Okay. And I would like to add, if Ryan would bring the paperwork showing the up to 200% AMI to the town meeting, I would appreciate seeing it because I have met with the Orleans Planning Board and I have a lot of information from them. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Anyone else in the room? Seeing none, we'll go to, I see one hand up, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, Sarah?
Actually, there's two, Jay Norton and Sarah Flick.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Sarah.
Hello, Sarah Nichols here. First of all, I want to follow up on the group appeal that was submitted November 18th, 2025 regarding the 1,000 real estate tax minimum used to determine beach parking eligibility. While the request for a hearing was denied, the regulations do provide for a written appeal to the town administrator. A request for a written response was submitted on March 22nd with a follow-up on April 21st. To date, we've received no response. I would appreciate clarification on when we can expect one, as without it, it's unclear how the appeals process is intended to function. Second, several affected property owners submitted letters and agenda placement requests forms over the weekend asking the board to address this issue before the summer season. To date, the town has spent significant time and resources to deny access for 13 resident beach stickers out of more than 16,500 issued annually under the rationale of preserving a limited resource, beach parking. At the same time, thousands of visitor passes are sold to non-property owners who use the same parking spots at all but one beach. I respectfully ask the board to consider what purpose this requirement serves and whether maintaining it is an effective and equitable use of town resources. The chair indicated he considers this issue closed in his May 4th email to some impacted property owners, in which he stated, "Please be advised that as I have previously stated to Ms. Nichols, this issue is closed and will not be revisited, at least while I continue as chair of the select board and as such remain in control of the select board's agenda. However, for the small number of affected property owners, it remains unresolved as they will otherwise be excluded from beach access for another summer season. I want to note that at least 2 members of this board and 1 current candidate have publicly expressed concerns with this policy. Given that, and recognizing that the select board is a multi-member board, it seems appropriate for the full board to have the opportunity to discuss this issue together in the public eye. With that in mind, I respectfully ask whether any members would support placing this on a future agenda prior to the summer, or at least discussing a temporary pathway to access or an alternative. Thank you in advance for your time and consideration, and I will be emailing the board regarding this as well. Thank you so much."
Okay, thank you.
Jay Norton.
Jay Norton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick reminder for everybody, Amnesty Day is scheduled for this Saturday, May 9th from 8 to 2 p.m. It's posted on the website, transfer station website, and also at the transfer station. So just want to make that reminder to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, anyone else online?
No.
Anyone else in the room?
It's okay.
last go around? Going once, going twice? Seeing none, we'll move on. Tom?
The only thing I wanted to mention is tomorrow at some point during the day, we will have some logistics on the webpage as it relates to the shuttle, so that people will be able to figure out how to use the shuttle on Monday night if that's what they want to do.
Okay, thanks. Moving on to, just one quick announcement. We have, as you can see, a pretty hefty docket tonight. So any comments either from the public or from us on the board, try to make it as concise as possible so we can get through this. We've had some pretty late meetings lately, and it would be nice to see what we can do to shorten them up. So with that, does anyone on the board wish to remove anything from the consent agenda?
I think we should talk about Jack's boat rental.
There's
that's
two
right.
items on the agenda for Jax. This is his annual renewal.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The other piece on the other comes up a little later in the agenda.
Okay. Anyone else? Seeing none, I'll take a motion on the consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the following items with no objection. Use of town property, Mike Schiller, Jack's Boat Rentals, kayak drop-off at Long Pond and Powers Landing from May 18th, 2026 to September 30th, 2026 from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. for a fee of $770. Use of town property, Julie O'Reilly, Dan Check, collaboration with Recreation Department to offer dance fitness classes July 1st to August 29th, 6:45 a.m. to 9 a.m. for a fee of $880. And a request from the town moderator for the board to approve the giveaway of 5 beach transfer stickers at the end of town meeting.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Barbara, aye.
Ryan, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
John, aye. Passes 5-0.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I may not have heard it. Josh, did you read up A?
Yes.
You did, okay, I just missed it, I'm sorry. I don't know how I missed it, but I did, okay.
Okay, I now open the public hearing on AT&T approval to replace existing utility pole on Ocean View Drive with a proposed Southern Pine 40-foot Class 2 utility pole. And we have someone from that estimable organization here.
We thank AT&T for sending, not being online and sending a real body. We appreciate that very much.
We take these seriously. And with due respect for the board.
Thank you.
My name is Ed Parry. It's P-A-R-E. I'm an attorney at Brown Rudnick, One Financial Center in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm here representing New Singular Wireless PCS LLC, which operates as AT&T. In this instance, AT&T is seeking to enhance wireless service in the area, which I think everybody would be pleased with. This is a application for a small cell facility, so these aren't your big 180-foot rector set towers of monopole type installations. We were able to locate what we call a support pole or a stub pole along near 909 Ocean View. Eversource will require that we replace the pole, which we'll do. We'll put a 2-foot canister antenna on the top. I think I've done one of these in the past in Wellfleet. Back in 2018, 2019, it was on private property, so it's a little different. We're here before you for a grant of location because we're in the public right-of-way. The installation consists of bringing electrical power, fiber. There's an equipment cabinet on the side of the pole, which is attached. Those house the radios so that it's a nice, neat wiring and equipment installation. As I said, it's a 24-inch antenna, 16 inches in diameter. We submitted all of our compliance materials. We comply with the emissions requirements. We're at 7.9% of the FCC max. We submitted detailed plans, photo simulations, structural report. I think we're all in order, and I'd be happy to. I know you have a busy agenda. I can stop there and respond to any questions.
Does anyone on the board have any questions? Tom?
Just one quick one. When you say that you're going to be replacing the pole, Verizon's pole, you're not going to leave that in. You're
We're
not going
not.
to double it up.
Yeah, we run into that double pole situation. The It's a guide pole, so there isn't transfer that'll need to take place. Typically, you have to wait for the cable company, the electric company, Verizon to come in if there's town equipment. In this instance, they'll drop the pole, and they're right next to it, and they understand they're required to remove the pole.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, anyone else on the board? Josh? Ryan?
I'll wait.
Go ahead,
All right.
go ahead, Josh.
Just want to say, one, thank you for a detailed report. And I want to thank you for investing in Wellfleet cell phone coverage. It's a challenge. It is for us, and any improvement is welcome. Just for the public to understand where this is going right at the entrance of Cahoon Hollow Beach. So to all those individuals that are waiting for their cars at the top, they don't have great cell phone coverage. The intention and the hope is that they'll have better coverage and better connection.
Yeah, so we provided some coverage maps in our materials. If they're available, you can take a look, and the public certainly has access to them. We're really struggling with coverage down there for AT&T. This will cover the beach area, at least the coverage is typically a quarter. I mean, with the elevations down here, we're probably closer to a third of a mile radius. So you'll get good coverage. It'll make a big difference for sure.
Thank you.
Unlike 14 years ago when I broke my arm down there, if I did it again, I'd have cell coverage to call for help.
Hopefully you're an AT&T customer. That would be right.
No. I'll keep that to myself. Ryan?
This is more of a general question, but I'm just wondering why this requires a agenda item before the board. I think this might be something that in the future, if possible, we can handle more efficiently. But I think cell service everybody recognizes the need. As long as it's, not a large tower or something of that nature. I mean, this is just going on a standard, telephone pole. I don't really see, the need for, unless it's a requirement for the select board to have a public hearing and approval of it. But I'm not sure, so.
All right.
Sir?
Well, yeah, with anything we can do to speed this up would be great. This is part of a state process because we're in the public right-of-way, and it technically requires a public hearing for the grant of location. So we're using kind of an old statute with respect to utility poles, rights-of-way. The statute requires a public hearing. That's why we're here.
I'm just reading from the agenda. Public hearings. Public comments are always taken at public hearings. AT&T pole hearing, Ocean View Drive. I do not see what needs to be done beyond that.
Nope.
Public comment.
And
I don't think
once
I'm sorry.
we're through with the board. Ryan, I really don't want to prolong this, but what do you?
I don't either, but our zoning, I believe, has the planning board as a permitting authority over cell phone apparatuses.
You want me to respond? I mean, I'm familiar with, and I've been before the planning board for these. Because it's in the right-of-way, the select board's the proper location. If this was on private property, as the last one I did in 18 or 19, I did go to the planning board for that.
Yeah.
Very well. Tim?
They would still have to approve it, even if it was on town property.
Okay. Tim? Tim has the floor.
Tim, sir, quick question to the AT&T through the chair. You stated as long as you have AT&T, is your AT&T able to take 911 calls from any phone?
It is. So the phones have to be somewhat modernized. I don't think the flip phones work that way.
Yeah,
but if they're digital phones, yeah, 911 is ubiquitous. But for actual AT&T coverage and speeds, you need our.
Understand. I just want to make sure that if I have a Verizon phone and I'm there and I dial 911.
911 will work. And, as the town administrator noted, AT&T provides FirstNet service, and that'll also be part of this.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Helen? Helen, you had your hand up. Helen,
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Use of town property, select board has to vote on it, hearing or not. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
Oh, I was prepared to make a motion after you close the public hearing.
Oh, okay. Do we have any other hands up?
No.
Okay. Anyone in the room? Seeing none?
I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Ryan, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
John, aye.
And then, Mr. Chairman, before I do, and just following up on the town administrator's comment about removal of the existing pole, I wonder if we can amend the order that's in the packet. Instead of saying must be removed as soon as possible, for it to state must be removed within 60 days. If we could do that, if it needs to be extended, that's fine, but I would like to put something in here rather than as soon as possible, if that's agreeable.
It is, but I would suggest that you do 90 days. Nothing moves
Sure.
too quickly, so.
That's fine.
And as long as we can come back, we don't control the poll, it's an Eversource poll, so
Okay.
we're agreeing to the condition, but I don't control, we can badger them, though.
Okay, but because there's language in there about when it must be removed, I'd just like to tack that on, so thank you. So, Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the replacement of the existing utility pole at 909 Ocean View Drive with a proposed Southern Pine 40 feet Class 2 utility pole, with the existing pole to be removed within 90 days.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Discussion.
Okay.
It needs a special permit by our zoning.
Okay, I'm going to amend my motion, subject to any zoning requirement.
I'd like to hear from AT&T's attorney on this.
The zoning is not required when we're in the right-of-way, so we could do subject to any permits,
Right.
but.
I am going to take an attorney's word for this over board members. Thank you.
Barbara?
Ryan, through the chair to Ryan, if there is a zoning requirement, they'll have to follow it. If there isn't a zoning requirement, then it's a nullity, so that's,
Yeah, it's in the zoning table as requiring a special permit.
okay. So I'm amending my motion to provide subject to any applicable zoning requirement and removal within 90 days.
I second the motion as amended.
Roll call vote.
Brian, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
John, aye. Passes 5-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving on to board and committee appointments and updates. What? What? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I got ahead of myself.
Come on up, Glenn.
Make yourself at home.
Part two.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Mr. Grant, Glenn, first, if I could, Mr. Chairman, just thank you for your flexibility on coming before us. It's appreciated.
We could do another night if you need to.
Yeah, you do enough nights.
Good night.
You must like it here.
I do. Would you like me to get started?
Yes, please.
Okay. Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you. The slide presentation that hopefully you have a copy of and is on the screen is what I will follow. But please keep in mind, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit through it because it includes the elementary budget, which obviously we had the pleasure with Principal O'Shea to deliver previously. So with that, thanks for the opportunity to share with the board an update on the regional budget as we move forward to and look forward to a town meeting next week. Next slide, please. I want to obviously bring attention to and call out and thank on behalf of our communities the many volunteers who collectively help guide this work in partnership with the administration. I think I saw Martha Gordon as chair of the Wellfleet School Committee that's online here. I don't know if Judy, as chair of the region, was able to be here tonight. We have 10 members of the Regional School Committee, and as you know, 5 for the Elementary Committee. And they work very closely in partnership with members of the administrative team that you can see listed here on the right. Our Assistant Superintendent, Vicki Saldana, is new to the district as well as I, and has been a great partner in this work as we navigate Nassau Public Schools and the 7 schools that are under the district, so to speak. I will call out attention to Robert Dutch. Bob Dutch is here online tonight. Bob has been a great partner as well, helping guide in an interim capacity the finance department as the district has been without full-time and dedicated financial stewardship since the spring of last year. So Bob has been a great partner, and I want to thank him for being here tonight. Next slide, please. In terms of a broad overview, I just thought if I may to start and give you a little bit of sense of the activity that's happening at the district level, and then we'll get into the budget pictures. Finance and operations, I mentioned Bob just a moment ago, Paul Donlin, both of whom are retired former finance folks in the public education realm, have been absolutely invaluable to myself and our leadership team and our school committees, all of our school committees, to help navigate this work. The district leadership, of which helps comprise part of the central office. You think about this in terms of our overall operations of helping guide 7 schools, not just at the region, but all of our schools. There is a flow of activity, and considerable, that does flow through the central office. That includes human resources. That includes all related affairs to student services, technology, nutrition and food services, and wellness. All of those folks in that middle panel have direct connections to and work within all 7 schools, including Wellfleet Elementary, and of course the middle school and the high school. And in terms of school building leadership, as mentioned, and as folks know, I'm sure here, we have 7 schools across the 4 towns, 5 elementary schools, that includes 2 in Brewster, and of course the middle school and the high school, and you can see the members of the incredible leadership team that we have in place and our towns are fortunate to have. Next slide, please. In terms of district-wide priorities, initiatives, as I look ahead as your superintendent to next year in no particular order, but probably appropriate to start with this one, and that's enhanced communication. Since I started here in Nauset in July, it's become abundantly clear that there are a lot of folks who are expecting and hoping for improved communications from our school system to our communities. It represents an immense opportunity, and one that I'm committing to leaning into. I think that, one of the things that I've learned here across our 4 towns is the incredible level of partnership and collaboration that's here, and it's truly such a great thing to be a part of. But I think we can do better in terms of partnering with our communities to help inform and convey important information around our schools. And I think that this is a great opportunity for us, particularly at the district or the region level. Obviously, a host of work around teaching and learning, the work that is the heartbeat of our operations. The full opening of the Nassau Regional High School, what an amazing facility. If you have not had a chance to visit there, please try to. The pride amongst the 4 towns should be off the charts. I think it's an incredible facility. And kudos to the support of, obviously, the Wellfleet residents and the residents throughout all of our 4 towns. It's just a great building that will serve Wellfleet young people and all of the other towns for decades to come. We are taking a look at close around pre-kindergarten programming. This program is not housed in Wellfleet. It happens to be housed in Brewster. But pre-kindergarten programming is a requirement under the Department of Education for all public school districts to have. And so this is we're at an important place to sort of dig in and further take a look at what the future of this program might look like for all of our 4 elementary communities. And that's something that I've talked with the elementary school committees about. Next slide, please. I mentioned improved communication, and just to go a little bit deeper into this, it's a core value of mine. I think that part of my responsibility is to make sure communities have a strong sense of the work that we do, where your dollars go and the important activity that's at play across our schools. And that's something that we have to be committed to. It just doesn't happen by happenstance. The one new position that's incorporated into this budget plan across all of our budgets is a dedicated person to support communications and community engagement. You are seeing more school systems around the Commonwealth, around the country, that are starting to realize that having somebody dedicated for this kind of work is important. Organizations have dedicated staff to help support this, and I think even within the public sector, more are realizing this. Two close by include Monomoy, who brought on this position, I think, 2 or 3 years ago, down in Charmouth as well. And at the town level, Orleans as well as Brewster have a position that, we understand it, is dedicated to this. And that is included. Next slide, please. Actually, if you could go ahead to 2 more, thank you. And this really is embraced in terms of what this position, I think, can help deliver, and that is the engagement piece. It's making sure that all of our documents for our families, for our staff, for our students, and for our communities are accessible, easy to navigate, easy to find. But it's also more than just website production. I just want to be clear. It is about making sure that all of the different communication channels, of which there are many throughout our school system, are up to date, are current, and that everyone, even if you don't have a child in the Wellfleet Elementary School or in the middle school, you have a sense, if you're interested about the work of schools and how to access that. Now, next slide, please. One of the things that I also believe can come with enhanced communication is trying to make sure that families recognize that a couple of things. First off, the reality is that there's a lot of choice out there for families nowadays, and this holds true not just here on the Cape, but everywhere. Charter schools are an option that families are indeed pursuing. School choice is an option. I'll speak about that in a moment, a little bit more. This is a data point that really quite struck me. Right now, NOSIT, and when I say NOSIT, of course I'm referring to the 4 towns. This school year, we have 121 students that attend school in charter schools. And that comes with a cost, a significant one. And that's not an error, a little bit over $3.2 million for collective costs. I think that NOSIT Public Schools, NOSIT Region High School, the middle school, provides incredible programming, an immense opportunity for students. And I think that part of the challenge and the need for us is to make sure that that story gets told and very clearly, so our families can make informed choices. Please don't get me wrong, I don't think the communication alone is going to necessarily, in all cases, redirect someone who might be choosing another educational option, but it could make the difference. And I think that that's, to me, is the heart of, when we think about attracting and retaining students in our district, that holds dividends multiple times over, and I think that that can come with this communication. Next slide, please. Student and family attraction and retention, I'm hitting upon here around the communication. And I'll also just take the opportunity to bring attention to the fact that we are underway with the development of a new strategic plan for the school system. Our 5-year plan expired at the end of last school year. We have a whole host of people, including representatives here from Wellfleet, who are rolling up their sleeves and working hard to help contribute to the development of this new plan. And it's my hope that we will have a new plan before all of our school committee members prior to the start of next school year. And this is an important roadmap, obviously, for our future. If you could jump ahead to a couple of slides, please. School enrollment, thank you so much. Just quickly on school enrollment, obviously an important data point in and of itself. Enrollment is a focal point of, I can tell you, school systems everywhere throughout the Commonwealth, not just here on the Cape. The state this year had a drop of 15,000 students from last year. It brings the state's enrollment in public schools to the lowest level in approximately 30 years. So this has really caught people's attention. And there are some, more than theories, there's some sort of actual understanding around some of the contributing factors to this: lower birth rates, outward migration, families literally moving out of Massachusetts. So it's something that many are watching very closely and concerned about, obviously, in terms of what enrollment looks like, trends going forward. Next slide, please. When you take a closer look at Nauset Public Schools, this graph, this table, I'm sorry, shows you a 3-year comparison of the overall enrollment, focused specifically here on the elementary schools and the region, middle school and high school. And you can see that for fiscal year 26, this school year, we have 1,971 students. This is the actual number that it's on file with the Department of Education, October 1st numbers. And you can see that decline, that gentle decline, if you will, over the last couple of years. Next slide, please. But I just want to make sure to point out that this is not just a Nauset challenge or the challenge of the 4 towns. I took a closer look at the data across all of the Cape Cod districts, and what you can see here is that 3-year trend. And with the exception of P-Town, arguably, that you can see had the same number of students in fiscal year 24 compared to fiscal year 26 this year, every other one of the districts has seen a decline in enrollment across the Cape. So it is a reality, and it's certainly something that I'm well aware of and keying in on. I just want to bring it quickly, before we get into the budget, school choice. This is a topic that I know has gathered lots of interest in Nauset here. And here's a snapshot of where this stands right now. The understanding that I have is that all districts throughout the Cape, or on Cape rather, participate in the school choice program. That doesn't necessarily mean that all grades within each school are open for choice students, but it does mean all schools participate. You can see the number of choice-in students, the next slide, please, that you can see the goldenrod there at the top. NRMS is, of course, the middle school, NRHS, the high school. This current fiscal year 26, we have 40 students who reside in other towns other than the 4 here that are choicing in at the middle school, and we have 125 at the high school. It also goes the other way, and you can see down the bottom right-hand corner of the table the number of students that we have who reside in one of our 4 towns that choice out. This year, 34 in the middle school, 43 in the high school. These are numbers that I will continue to watch closely and be paying close attention to. I will just say quickly, the number of students that we lost from 5th grade to the middle school going out to charter schools this year declined from last year. Meaning more students opted to stay and their families opted to have them stay with their cohort of peers. This is data that's important, obviously, for lots of reasons, and I assure you I'll be carefully watching as we move ahead. If you could kindly jump ahead to slide 22, please. I'm skipping over the elementary, getting into the region here. Just a couple of, an opportunity. I know that you learn an awful lot about the wonderful Wellfleet Elementary School, just a short distance from here. Lots of great things happening at our middle school and high school, too, that if you have any kind of connection to, as I've come to learn, these are 2 great institutions with lots of strong programming. Next slide, please. Just highlights quickly. I'll try and move through these in the interest of time. I know you've got a heavy agenda, but some accomplishments and shout out for the high school. Lots of great work happening here as the building is now fully complete, fully moved into, and the programs and the services and the staff there are growing into that space, and it's just terrific to see. Next slide, please. We have a lot of great things happening at our middle school as well, too. Continues to serve grades 6 through 8, and it's certainly catching on. It's had some struggling years in the past recently that I've come to understand, but things are headed in the right direction there. It's a strong leadership team and a group of staff that are working really hard in service for our 6th through 8th grade or young adolescents. Next slide, please. And just some collaborations with the local communities that are happening and alive and well as well, too. Lots of pride throughout these schools, too. Next slide. Slide 27, if you could. Some of the strategic priorities that are at play within the middle school and really helping build connections, so important amongst young adolescents. Some of the most challenging years of young people, for sure, and lots of great things that are, again, happening. Shifting into the budget, next slide, slide 29, please. I'll give you a high-level overview of where things are at. This slide shows you, one more, slide backwards, please, sorry, staffing trends. Slide 29. One of the, this provides you with an overview of a comparison of staffing across the last number of years. FTE, I know we use a lot of acronyms, but full-time equivalent. Sometimes we have part-time positions, and so that's why we aggregate it in that way, and that's why you see the decimal points. It's sometimes there's not a person working full-time in their respective roles. What you can see here is a comparison over the last few fiscal years of where the enrollment was, or not the enrollment, I'm sorry, the staffing numbers at the high school. Back in 21-22, you can see it's 79.3, and this current year, 71.2. The middle school, 53.1 to 51.6. So what this represents, and what I've come to learn, is really an effort to try and, through attrition, reduce staff where there are opportunities to do so. That is through retirements or those that are leaving the district. If there is a chance that services can be delivered still without the need to replace a staff member, the administration will carefully look at that and follow through on that, and that they have been doing. And, you know, it's a fine balance to also making sure that there's enough opportunity for programs for students to take in particular departments. But this is a strategy, if you will, that has helped in terms of the budgetary, which you'll see in a minute, impact. The next slide shows you a comparison from fiscal year 26 to fiscal year 27, and broken down with the middle school in the top box in the gray. You can see that this is broken down in terms of salaries and expenses. And from fiscal year 26 to fiscal year 27, starting with that salary line, of a difference of $297,390 or 3.37% change. I should point out that we are going into the third year of a 3-year collectively bargained agreement with the school committees. This includes a built-in escalation or cost of living adjustment of 3.25%.
What are the steps, Glenn? What is the percentage between the steps?
That I don't have off
I'm sorry,
for this
I don't mean
evening.
to put you on the
I'm
spot.
sorry.
It was just
Yeah, I can certainly get back to
question.
you. So you can see what that overall salary change is, and then similarly with all of the expenses. Keep in mind that the region serves essentially as the town, so we're paying for the energy in the building and repairs and so on. The overall expenses there, you can see the change from fiscal year 26 to fiscal year 27 of a difference of $13,641 or 1.29%. I think that what this really exemplifies, or hopefully does, is efforts made to try and tamp down costs and increases and escalations where and when possible. Together, the overall middle school change is 3.69% going from this fiscal year to next. Let me draw your attention to the high school, which is down the bottom. And this is where really that the staff reductions through attritions have come to the fore and helped out greatly. You can see, starting with salaries, at that top line, that our financial plan right now going from this year to next is a difference of $89,013 at the high school. So that is all staff, all in, reflective of a 0.74% change. You can also see then down the bottom, similarly, the expenses going up by 1.32%. Overall, at the high school, as we sit here this evening, the fiscal plan going forward before all towns, including Wellfleet, is a 0.8% increase at the high school from this fiscal year to next, and I just think that's important to bring some attention to. The next slide, if you could please, slide 31. A lot of numbers here happening, but for those who have been around the table, I think you've seen this sheet and overview before. At the top is the respective budgets for the various budget centers. Keep in mind that you have the middle school expenses, the high school expenses, region-only expenses, and then the central office expenses to there. Bless you. And you can see this broken down in a comparison from fiscal year 26 to fiscal year 27. It shows the dollar change, the percentage change, and then the FTE count, the staffing count. So when you roll together the expenses for the region combined, what you see there is a 1.69% increase from fiscal year 26 to fiscal year 27. When you add in the revenue sources down the bottom of the page, such things as Chapter 70, state transportation aid, and so on, you can see that there's a reduction there, a reduction of $783,454, or 8.10%. So while the overall expenses are quite minimal, I would suggest, the overall revenue is decreasing and declining. There's stories for each of these that is impacted, but the big storyline here is the excess and deficiency, or E&D. And one of the things that I've come to learn is that previous budget plans have used a larger number of E&D to serve as revenue. We think it's important, I think it's important that we can try and max out that budget line for in the event that we have emergencies. And, you know, the middle school, particularly, the high school is in great shape, obviously. The middle school, there are some concerns in terms of systems, and that excess and deficiency fund is our emergency fund, like you have obviously at the town level. And so we've deliberately pulled back on the use of E&D to $1 million going into next fiscal year to help serve as a revenue. So collectively, we've got some other decreases here happening in state transportation aid. Bob can speak more to that if there are questions. But so what you have coming together here is an overall lower expense rate going up, but the revenue going down. Collectively, this sits before you as a 4.18% increase, or just a little bit over $1.6 million combined. The next.
Chair, can I
Yes.
ask, and it will be for Mr. Dutch, I guess, because you said he'd be the person. I don't understand how did the state reduce transportation aid this year when they were talking about increasing it by another third?
Great question. Bob, are you there? Bob? Thank you.
Okay.
Bob?
He has to unmute himself.
There you go.
All right, I'm now able to speak. Hello. The state didn't lower transportation aid. We had lower expenditures because we have completed our lease payments on our buses. So our costs went down, and therefore our reimbursement has gone down as well.
Thank you, Bob.
You're welcome, Tom.
Thank you.
Sure. Next slide, please. This is slide 32. This provides you with an overview of the assessments, assessment for Wellfleet. The total number of students enrolled, you can see in the middle of the page there. So collectively, FY27 assessments, the operating assessment you can see at the top, a little bit over 3.6 million. Capital assessment is included, of course, as part of this budget plan, with your total assessment listed there as $4,721,088. You can see the other breakdown there in terms of Chapter 70, minimal local contributions and such. A lot of numbers, I know, but we wanted to try and lay this out for folks to be able to follow. And I'm happy to pause here as well for questions on this particular slide if you'd like.
Do we have any questions on the board or from town administration?
No, Mr. Chairman, I'm okay.
Okay, and as stated on the agenda, we are taking questions and comments from the public on this too. Is there anyone in the room who wishes to have a question?
Sorry, just if I could, I'm sorry, just a couple last slides just to bring your attention to quickly. We have included for you an overview of the capital plan going forward. As I'm sure members of the committee or the board are aware, there, as part of the regional agreement, there is an allocation built in for capital costs. I think it's 2.5%, Bob will correct me if I'm wrong, as an increase every year, but you can see then what that capital there is. And the focus, as mentioned earlier, is shifting to the middle school as we work to try and attend to those things that are in need. So you can see that overview as well as a 5-year capital plan as it stands right now based upon the needs that we have information on. So anyway, with that, thank you. Sorry to interrupt you, but I'm happy to take questions.
Okay, there is someone online. Okay, Lily, you want to unmute?
Yep. Hi. I had a question from a little while back in the presentation, just on the slide that said a little bit about the new position that you're trying to hire for. I am a Nauset graduate, and I do feel like Nauset is a very strong and respected school. I also work in marketing, so I'm very in tune with this strategy. I just don't feel like, I feel like it's a little bit corporate for a public school system. This specific hire, I feel like students should not be framed as revenue targets. I think it was equated to 4 students that were retained would equal the amount this position would be hired for. I just feel like that's a really weird way to put it. And then just that families, I don't feel like they need to be sold on Nauset. I feel like you guys, it sells itself. At least my experience there and the students that I went to school with, and where they ended up in life now. I feel like it's a very good representation of what this school offers. And I feel like if families are leaving, I would rather see the district look at honestly why they're leaving and use that money to strengthen the programs, better support the teachers, and invest that money directly in the students. Thank you.
May I respond?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thank you so much for the question, and it's a great one. So to be clear, one of the things, even before coming in this role, is the strength of the Nauset Public Schools and its reputation and the great work that it's done. I have to say, one of the prominent, without question, points of feedback that was received, even starting with the search for myself as your new superintendent, and after getting into here, absolutely 100% focuses around a desire to have improved communications. So I think that, and that comes from a variety of stakeholders, which really was impossible to ignore. And just to also point out that this position was actually one that a subset of the school committee members had started to really talk seriously about even prior to my hiring. They recognize that there's this desire for improved communications and engagement. And so when I joined the district in July, there had already been quite a bit of talk about and consideration of this position. And I think that I appreciate your point around in no way trying to equate this to students to widgets or dollars alone. That wasn't the intent. But rather to bring focus to the fact that expectations are high for communication. And one of the things that really resonated with me from my past experiences as well, too, is that when you don't have someone and you have multiple people doing the same job or contributing to the same job or same function, that doesn't always go well. And having somebody being sort of overseeing that work and steering that work can bring a whole host of differences in terms of consistency. One of the things that families shared through the process of information gathering here was their experience going from, say, the elementary to the middle school was very different in terms of communication and awareness, and different than going to the high school. And so it was those stories specifically that gave rise to this, to say this seems like it's an important opportunity for us. And going finally back to there is choice out there, and choice is a wonderful thing. And I don't mean choices in school choice. We have seen an increase in homeschooling students across the country, charter schools, private schools. There's a host of choices for families now, which easily could be an argument to say that's a great thing. My point in this position is we want to put our best foot forward to make families aware that Nauset is also a great choice, which I think it is. So.
Thank you.
I'll keep my, if I could just.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and to a certain degree, it's marketing, but it really is giving people, I think that people, if there's a charter school, they think there must be something better on that, and I must have my kid in there, and not really assessing what is happening at my local school before I jump to that. And if you can get them in the building to show or have them aware of programming, they might not make that assumption so quickly. So it is an outreach that you have to do. But I appreciate Lily's remarks, and she's a good graduate for you. You know, she knows that you do a good job. So, but it's tough. It is, you don't want to put it into marketing terms, but it is something that you have to express that we're here too, and this is what we offer. And, you know, as you say, there's a lot of choice, so you have to get that out.
Yeah, and just, if I may, sorry, through the chair, you know, I wanted to, though, emphasize the marketing piece, to use your term, is certainly one thing, but it's also when we have with a captive audience of families connected to our schools, students and staff connected to our schools, there still is a demand for a lot of information on a daily basis or a weekly basis, and making sure that that's very accessible. I mean, I heard from the school committee members who are on this working group that I mentioned, Communications and Outreach was the title of the subcommittee. And they shared accounts about, sometimes, it's not to say the schools are not working hard to try and make information available, but it falls onto the backs of one more person who may not be terribly skilled at hitting that communication in the right way and making it accessible. And I'm not just trying to suggest that schools aren't working hard at this or our educators aren't. They're not. They are, but there's also a level of frustration and desire that they need more and easily to access.
Mm-hmm.
So it's internally, once we have our stakeholders connected to our schools, as well as that outreach as well too.
Barbara?
John, just, Mr. Chairman, a quick question through you, if I may, to the superintendent. Glenn, thank you for being here again. I know that the high school's architecture program was cut last year. Was that a matter of attrition or something else?
It was a matter of both attrition as well as a reduced level of interest by students, as I understand from the administration. So, one of the things that is a fine line to sort of, not a fine line, but a balance point, especially at the high school level more than the middle school, is what is the demand for students? We want to have as rich of an array of subject offerings as we can. Mm-hmm. That makes a school attractive, right? We need to also be mindful of the fact that if we're not offering a breadth of programs, that may be a deterrent for a student to come to our school. But the numbers sometimes, and it's true, in some areas just ebb and flow and wane. And my understanding as the school administration took a look at that was the level of student interest had really dropped off in recent times. I think it was a retirement. I may be incorrect about that. A retirement or a resignation. Forgive me, and so that's the kind of situation where there was a determination to say, okay, we could phase out of this program. Conversely, the music or band teacher earlier this year retired in October. That position was filled because there's student need, the need there, the student level of interest there. So those are the kind of things that are considered on a case-by-case basis.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Seeing none, you can go ahead and...
John, Lily Merles has her hand up again, please.
Oh, okay. Well, before I go to that, did you have anything else you wanted to go over on the budget?
Thank you.
Okay, Lily?
Yeah, I was just going to add one more comment, and thank you for your reply. I appreciate it. I was just going to add that I feel like the middle school does a phenomenal job already with marketing. I constantly get it on my Facebook feed of just what the kids are doing, all the different projects, the different people they're bringing in to teach them about different things. So it just honestly seems like the gap is at the high school with the representation. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But why don't we just take kind of what the middle school is already doing and try and apply that to the high school? And I guess my other question would be, who is doing that? Because whoever it is, they're doing a really great job, and I've definitely picked up on it at the middle school. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the sense I have. I don't know if there's any one person. I think that's shared across multiple people at the middle school. But that kind of those kind of efforts, leveraging the different communication channels, is starting to make a difference. There is no question about that. That's the feedback. What you're hearing and seeing is also what I'm starting to as well too, which is just a great thing for that school community, and being able to lean into or leverage what's working well is also something that from my perspective, having someone who's then able to apply that across the school system. Can be a helpful approach too.
I can speak from a little bit of experience as to the excellence of your performing arts programs at Nauset Regional High School. I had the good fortune to be hired as a musician for the last spring's spring musical, and I was very impressed with not only the musical director but the dramatics director and the enthusiasm of the students. It was really something to see.
I'm happy that if I may,
Yeah,
just to
sure.
follow up on that. you know, it was a big thing. Barnstable High School had a great theater program and real big productions, as did Provincetown High. And when that ended, it really was something that was missing at the end of the school year, because it was something, I didn't have anybody at Provincetown High or at Barnstable, but we would go because the talent was really so amazing. You just said, these kids are going to go to Broadway. And so I think it's a great thing for kids, because it gives them a lot of, even if they don't pursue a theater, it gives them the confidence and being able to be on a stage, and there's a lot of benefits to it. So I just think it's a great program, and I'm glad to see that you're practicing next week, which is why we wouldn't have been able to use the gym if we wanted to have our town meeting there. We could have used the gym, but not the auditorium, because they were practicing, so we'll have to sneak in and watch that.
Well, thank you. Did you have anything else?
I don't, no.
It's tough, but
Thanks so much for your time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yeah, Ryan, sure.
So first is just a general observation is, you know, smaller student bodies, you know, do result in fewer enrichment opportunities for the students. You need enough students to basically join a program to make it work. I mean, right now there's enough students there to make a number of different programs work, but let's say an easy example is, you know, you can't have a band of one. So, you know, it's been a concern of mine for a while, because, you know, there's always budgetary pressures. You know, I just remember even back in elementary school, elementary school was much more populated than it is now. But the last year I was there, they reduced the librarian position, and that was, you know, a blow. I love the libraries, so you know, it's helpful to have a student body that's large enough to support a variety of different activities or clubs or whatever else for the area students. And then the other one is, I've asked the same of your predecessors as well. We really need to get these presentations a little earlier. Our warrant's already closed. It's helpful if we can get these presentations before warrant is closed, because, you know, I think it's an important part of the budget conversations. And we've asked repeatedly of your predecessors to try to, you know, visit us earlier in the school year. I know this is your first year, and I know there's a lot of turnover in the central office, so I get it. But just as a future note, and I know that we're not alone.
Yeah, this is really something that can be handled outside of the meeting, I think.
If I could, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, go ahead.
Glenn tried to get into us 4 or 5 weeks ago.
A good point.
Didn't allow him in.
We are the one that did not have the time, so,
That's right.
thank you.
The chair should have placed it.
Yep. Okay. All set?
Okay, all
Thank you,
set.
Glenn.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Glenn.
Irene, good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
Okay, we're up to board and committee appointments. Starting with item A, Robert Wallace to be appointed as a voting member of the Board of Water Commissioners.
Mr. Chairman, I believe Helen is on. Helen has done tremendous work in helping to recruit 2 really good people who I think will be...
All right.
3, I'm sorry, for the...
Oh, well, there's 2, but there'll be another one.
There'll be 3, yeah. For the Water Commission, this will give us a quorum, and we can get going. And I really thank her for that. She's been very, since she came on board, she's been very attuned to the interim contract, what we're working with Veolia on that. She's been in touch with the water admin person in looking at, you know, the billing and the meters. She's been very helpful, and this is a big help.
All right. No, I take it there's nobody going to be speaking specifically to this?
I
wouldn't think that there needs to be, but there is,
think
we
there
are
needs to
allowing
be,
public
if
comment
unless
if
the people are
anybody,
here.
if anybody has any questions or,
Yeah.
oh, come on up. Oh,
Hello,
Hi, how you doing?
Bob Wallace.
Bob Wallace.
Hi, Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
What do you want to know?
oh,
What do you want to know?
I was just saying, that it's open for public comment
Oh,
if anybody has any
okay.
questions or comments, but thank you for introducing yourself.
All right.
Bobby, are you still on the FinCom as well?
No.
No? All right. So, Bob Wallace had served a number of years on the Wellfleet Finance Committee. He is, I'm glad that he's willing to serve in this role, and he's an extremely good candidate, and I just want to thank him for his willingness to serve.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks.
Mr. Chairman, would you like a motion?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I move to appoint Robert Wallace as a voting member to the Board of Water Commissioners for a term of 3 years to expire June 30th, 2029, to be sworn in by the town clerk before voting at meeting.
A second.
Roll call vote.
Ryan, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
John, aye. Passes 5-0. Congratulations,
Thank you.
Thank you.
and thank you for stepping up. Item B, similarly to Donald Temis, to be appointed as a voting member of the Board of Water Commissioners for a term of 3 years. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
How you doing?
Any questions? Or
Does anyone have any questions, either on the board or in the public?
I don't.
I do if nobody at the table does.
I know that John is.
No one at the table does. Go ahead, Ryan.
All right, it's something Helen's reminded me of a few times. Mr. Temis is currently a member of the planning board. The charter, you can't serve on more than one regulatory board at a time. And Helen has indicated that your intention is to resign from the planning board and join the water commission. Is that correct?
yes, that's the way the motion is written, yes.
Okay. Just so others are aware.
As of June 30th.
Awesome.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good. If there are no other questions. Oh, I see that Helen Wilson has her hand up. Helen?
Yeah, I apologize for this. First of all, was the motion to appoint Robert Wallace immediately?
Yes. Yeah.
Good. So now on it. So we have 2 members now.
Yes.
Is that correct?
That's
Good.
correct.
Okay, so my understanding is that Mr. Temis wants to wait until the end of June. So the motion should be actually beginning on July 1st.
Yeah, that's the way the motion is written.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
No, it's not.
Well, it says that his other one is
It says-
expiring June 30th, so we can insert, and he will start this July.
The motion reads that the appointment is conditional.
I will be sworn in after June 30th.
The motion's very clear in that it says, this appointment is conditional on his resignation from the planning board. Once resigned, he is to be sworn in by the town clerk before voting at a water commission meeting. I don't think it needs to be any more detailed than that.
And the June 30th date is noted in the.
It is noted. It says a
Um,
voting member of the Board of Commissioners for a 3-year term to expire
Just a-
June 30th.
Okay,
Quick
Ryan?
question, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
Is your term expiring on June 30th as a planning board member?
Yes.
Okay, so then it wouldn't be conditional on his resignation from the planning board. It would be conditional on basically, the end of his service on the planning board. Because he wouldn't be resigning. He would have to be reappointed.
My pressure, if I may, Chair,
Yes.
My pressure was simply to recognize the fact that he couldn't do two at once. However you want to word it, that's your business. But unfortunately, conventionally, people assume somebody's going to continue on, whatever they've been appointed to, even though Ryan is right, they have to be reappointed. But the assumption needed a sort of certified statement about it so that everybody would understand. Thank you.
I would recommend a simple change in the motion in that case.
Yeah,
That,
and just very quickly, Mr. Chair.
Please don't speak over me.
Sorry, sorry, Mr. Chair.
That this appointment is conditional on the expiration of his current term on the planning board to occur June 30th, 2029. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I have a motion.
Not 2029.
I mean,
Yeah,
2026, I'm sorry.
Yes, that makes sense to me.
Okay, Josh?
I'm ready to make a motion.
Oh, okay.
And just because Helen's brought it up, I know that the reappointment process is something that Rebecca and Jennifer has worked on a lot over the last couple of years, and I just want to recognize that effort on their part. That was it, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thanks. Go ahead, Josh.
Mr. Chair, I move to appoint Donald Timmis as a voting member to the Board of Water Commissioners for a term of 3 years to expire June 30th, 2029. This appointment is conditional on the end of his term of service from the Planning Board on June 30th, 2026. Once his term expires, he is to be sworn in by the town clerk before voting as a Water Commissioners meeting.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Ryan, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
And John, aye. Passes 5-0. Congratulations, Mr. Timus.
John, and thank you.
Thank you very much. I hope I make a good contribution to the Board of Water Commissioners.
We are sure you will.
We are sure you will.
Really appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
We appreciate your stepping up.
Okay. Thank you.
Item C, Judith Kumbler to be appointed as a voting member of the Recycling Committee for a term of 3 years. Is Judith with us?
I don't think she is.
Yep, I saw that. Are there any questions either from the board or the public?
With the strong endorsement of the Recycling Committee, I'm prepared to make a motion.
Go right ahead.
Go ahead.
I move to appoint Judith Kumbler as a voting member to the Recycling Committee for a term of 3 years to expire June 30th, 2029, and to be sworn in by the town clerk before voting at an upcoming meeting.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Ryan, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Sorry, Barbara, aye.
Josh, aye.
John, aye. Passes 5-0. And thank you, Judith, for stepping up. And moving on now to uses of town property, item A. Jessa, is that how you pronounce that? Okay. Jessa Stevens to approve the use of Newcomb Hollow Beach for a wedding. Go ahead.
I want to give a quick. So
Yeah, go ahead.
this came back to you because there was a request for additional information. There was a question about the size and scope of the wedding, maybe warranted further questioning, let's just put it that way. And so I think she's here to explain this further.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
You have the floor.
Does she understand?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Hello?
Yes.
Hey, this is Jesse and Kevin.
We could put on our face.
I don't know if the video's working.
Oh,
Can you hear us okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
awesome.
Can you explain to us just briefly what your plans are for the wedding on the beach?
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to transport all of the guests to Newcomb Hollow via bus, and the bus is going to unload everyone at the entrance to the parking lot, and then everyone will walk over to the beach. We have about, sorry, there's a loud subway nearby. We have about 45 guests coming, and then we're going to have chairs and an arch set up on the beach by a company that's setting it up. And for the recommendations we got, we'll set up north of the lifeguard chair and make sure not to obstruct any access for like beachgoers that have to pass by.
And can you, through you, Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
And can you tell us how long the wedding is scheduled to last?
The ceremony itself should be pretty quick. We anticipate being there from like 5:15 to 6, but we added extra time to the application to account for the company that's just setting up the chairs and the arch and then is going to break it down at the end. So, in total, maybe 4 to 7.
Go ahead.
First of all, congratulations. Love is a wonderful thing. And
Thank you.
So we received an email from Suzanne, who is our beach warden, I would say. And she just pointed out a few things that I'm just hoping, maybe she sent this to you as well. But her questions were, when does the rental company anticipate setting up and removing the chairs? And the permission window is 5 to 7. Will everything be set up and broken down within those hours? And if not, the application needs to be amended. And also to be aware that the high tide that day, and I'm not sure if you took it into an account, is 3:30. So, and the beach would be narrow. And we also have to, she does say to, it would be best to be set up at the north side and not only be respectful and wary maybe of beachgoers, but also of the piping plover that will still be nesting. So did you receive that memo and take those things into consideration?
Yeah, we received the memo and we sent along our responses. I don't know how to formally amend the application, but we had sent an email that we would like to amend it to 4 to 7 to account for the setup time. That would be enough time for them to set up the arch and the chairs for us to get there at 5:15, and then they're going to break it down as soon as we're done, so they'll be out of there before 7 p.m. So 4 to 7 would be the updated time frame.
Okay.
And then for the setup, yeah, that all sounds perfect. We're going to do north of the lifeguard station, and we'll make sure to set up the chairs and the arch in a way that doesn't obstruct any access and it adheres to wherever the tide is coming up to and the plover nesting.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I just want to make sure that that all got communicated. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
To share.
Yes.
I think this is a wonderful idea, but I think this sets a problematic precedent for the town. July 18th is prime time for beach going. The town of Wellfleet only has 50 yards of town beach at Newcomb. So if you think about the parking lot, that's roughly the boundary of beach that we have for public access. To the north and the south is the National Seashore, and you could certainly reach out to them if you want to hold your wedding on National Seashore land. But I have an issue telling beachgoers that are accessing the public beach to the north side of the lifeguard stand, which is only 25 yards, at 4 o'clock, and there's likely still going to be a lot of people at the beach, that they need to move for a private event. I think that's going to be uncomfortable for people at the beach. I think it's going to be uncomfortable for the individuals setting up for the wedding. As much as I want to support this, I think that the time of year and the time of day is problematic, and so I have reservations.
Barbara?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I agree with Sheila. Love is a wonderful thing, but I do agree with Josh and all the comments that he just made, so I can't support the application.
Ryan, you
I agree with Josh. I mean, yeah, I would be concerned that, just in general, that we would start getting a lot more applications for this. And yeah, yeah.
No. Before I make up my mind, I have a question for the couple.
Yeah, definitely. And I also have, yeah, go ahead. Definitely.
Given the fact that it is likely to be a busy beach day, And we do get an influx of people down there after 4 because then the parking regulations no longer apply. They don't have to pay, and they don't have to have a sticker. How prepared are you to deal with the fact that there are going to be people, all around you? They may not be real comfortable with moving.
Yeah, and we totally appreciate all of your concerns too. Like, all of it makes a ton of sense to us, and something that, we're like extremely flexible people. Our goal is to move as far away from people as possible and make sure, for their sake, make sure anyone that's enjoying themselves are not, being disturbed. And we're also extremely familiar with the beach. My parents live down the road, and it's the reason why we're picking Newcomb, or we hope to, is just it's a special place for us. And we're very open to moving farther down the beach. At 4 p.m. is when that's when we have it slotted that this husband and wife team who's setting up the arch will be there. And we will be there, though, we'll likely scout out the area ahead of time too before they're there, just to mark where we're going to be setting up exactly. So we also have a small group, I do want to mention that too, who are very capable of walking, a certain distance. So we would love to, we're here to be as flexible as possible and, work within whatever parameters you guys think would be best.
So,
Mr. the Chair?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll defer to Mr. Yeston.
Yeah, no, just really quickly, totally appreciate that you're open to moving further up the beach. The issue is that the town of Wellfleet only has jurisdiction over the parcel of beach that we own and control. And so moving further north, you're going to run into the jurisdiction of the National Park Service. And so we can't give you the authority to use that space for a private event, but they can. Just something to consider.
I'm not taking public comment on this. Sheila?
No, it's always iffy to plan an outdoor event. So have you thought about, what if it's really storming that day?
Did you say if it's raining that day?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah,
Oh,
if it's
yeah.
storming or...
Like a backup rain plan? Yeah, we have talked about that. It really depends. If it's a light drizzle, then we can do with umbrellas. If there is some sort of torrential situation, then we'll have a backup in my parents' place, likely. Backyard, yeah.
All right, well, Tom, did you have something?
No, Mr. Yeston addressed what I was going to address.
Okay. Yeah, that is a concern. I myself am inclined to, I have, I guess, a kind of a live and let see attitude on this. And just because we issue a use of town property in this case doesn't mean we have to going further, depending on how this goes. I'm not sure we're going to see a flood of applications for something like this. But anyway, so we have a few differences. But I'm willing to take a motion at this point, unless somebody has anything further.
I think it would be good to explore other alternatives. You can always have your photos, all of that there, but it is going to be tough. People set up beach, you're familiar with the beach. People start there, they get their fire, if they have their fire permit, they stake out their ground around 4 o'clock, they start getting that stuff ready. It could be, it's not as easy as just saying, could you move your chair a little bit? It could be a bigger thing. However, I kind of go with John, but that doesn't mean we are right.
She does raise a good point about the fire permits. They are few and very hard to get.
Right, and people covet them.
And when people get them, they do want to use them. So anyway, I think at this point we can take a motion. Anybody?
I can make a motion in the affirmative or negative, whatever the chair would like.
Well, in the spirit of the request, I'd say in the affirmative.
Sure. So, Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the use of Newcomb Hollow Beach on July 18th, 2026, from, it's now 4 PM to 7 PM for a wedding ceremony for a fee of $110.
Second.
Yeah, roll call vote?
Muted. Ryan, no.
Barbara, no?
Sheila, yes.
Reluctantly, no.
Yes. Okay.
Josh, yeah, I mean, sorry.
It's okay.
It's getting late. John, yes.
Which means
The measure fails 3-2. Sorry.
we're sorry.
Oh, okay, so it was not approved. just to
It was
confirm.
not approved, no.
Yeah, didn't agree to it.
I
It's a
encourage
tough
you to
time
reach
of
out to the
year.
National Park Service. They have a lot more beach than the town of Wellfleet does to permit, and they may be amenable to it.
A curiosity, like if we did, like we are familiar with the national seashore beaches. Is there, I guess I'd be curious from you all, like, is there any beach in Wellfleet? Like for us, it's so special, so we would love to, and we're very accommodating, respectful people,
Well,
so
there-
like,
Let me
It-
clarify. So you can reach out to the National Park Service to see if they would be amenable to allowing you to use their portion of beach at Newcomb. So,
oh, got it, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the portion of beach that the select board has jurisdiction over is really, really small. The National
interesting.
Park Service has much more square footage to work with.
Both north and south of Newcomb's.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay, awesome. We'll give that a try then.
They also are in charge of Marconi Beach, just so you know.
Yeah, we saw that too. Okay.
It's not their beach.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I
luck.
really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Moving,
Good night.
good night, and thank you.
Did they do this?
Now, moving on to item B, use of town property, Chequesset Yacht and Country Club. Mr. McLaughlin, is he online? Okay. And this is to approve the use of Baker's Field pickleball tennis courts
Well, the,
for certain dates.
right.
Yes,
And-
I'm here. Thank you.
Okay, we're also, I note that for the dates listed below, which we can read off later, and that the fee be waived. And Tom, if you'd like to speak to the reason.
Mr. Chairman, that's just my recommendation to the board. The Chequesset Country Club has been working with the town and every state and federal agency known to the human race on this Herring River program, and they have been excellent to work with. We are disrupting, that project is disrupting their place for 2 years. They're looking to come down and use the tennis courts on very specified times. I think it would be a good gesture, my perspective, to waive the fee and allow them. They're also going to be contributing some materials for the recreation program as well. I just think it would be a very nice gesture, recognizing the work that we've done with the Chequesset Yacht Club, Country Club over the last, since I've been here, and the work that Jay's done.
Okay, Barbara?
Through the chair to town administrator, we don't seem to have comments from the recreation department, and I would be,
She just got it in late.
okay,
It says Becky okay here.
okay, I've got, oh, I guess the one I have is blank. Okay,
Yeah,
thank
mine's
you. That
blank,
was
too.
as long as they're okay with it and that it doesn't interfere with any, public use, I guess, I can support
Yeah,
it.
Becky's very supportive of
Okay,
this.
thank you.
Okay, Ryan?
No, that answers my question. Mine also has a blank
Okay.
for the rec director.
Through you, Mr. Chair, to Mr. McLaughlin. The times and dates that you're asking for, is it exclusive to members of the club, or can members of the public also sign up for this?
This particular program is for the members of the club.
Right. This is closed for those 8 days.
Yes,
Well, portions, through the chair, portions of those days, not the entirety.
Yeah, it's not the entire day.
Okay.
It's just a
Correct.
portion of the day.
yes. Yeah, the second schedule attachment there shows that specific times on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday that we're looking for.
Mr. Chair, through you.
Yes.
I'm supportive of this. I kind of going back to the previous agenda item, I generally don't like to prohibit public access to public goods. Would you be amenable to opening these opportunities to the public if you didn't have full attendance from your membership?
We could. I think one of the considerations that we were thinking about is that we're only utilizing 3 of the town's pickleball courts during these time periods, leaving the other 3 courts available for public use. We could certainly entertain, if our classes didn't fill up, the opportunity for others to join. Sure. Yeah, that was our thinking, is that we were looking for this specific opportunity for members to come and be able to use pickleball courts, which ours are not available, and that we were only asking for half of what's available during those time periods. But certainly would be open to others joining if that made sense.
Okay, great.
Okay.
I myself, looking at the schedule, it's a 2-hour period right around the lunch hour, or no, one on the Friday it's 9 to 10:30, and then 11 to 1. I really have no problem with any of this at all. I don't see any need to make any special.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the use of Bakersfield pickleball tennis courts for the dates listed below, and that the fee be waived. And those dates are May 11th, 13th, 15th, 18th, 20th, 22nd, 25th, 27th, 29th for 2026 for pickleball lessons and play.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Sorry, Josh
through the
beat me
chair.
to the second. Can I just, a friendly amendment would be in recognition of the club's partnership with the town in the Herring River Restoration Project, if you're amenable to it.
Yeah, I would be. You want to amend your motion?
Okay, I will add for the dates listed below, and the fee be waived in recognition of the partnership and cooperation between the town and the Herring River Project and the Chickasaw Yacht Club.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Ryan, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
And John, aye. The amended motion passes 5-0.
Mr. Chairman, again, Barry here from Chickasaw Club.
Yes.
I want to thank the Select Board for this, and I also want to thank the town administrator and the Rec Department for supporting us. And moreover, the project is going extremely well, and we're very grateful for the support we've had from the town, certainly working with Tom and Jay and everybody else involved in the project. So again, this is great support, and really appreciate everybody's kind opportunity here. Thank you.
And we thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Barry. Okay, moving on. Item C of use of town property. Mike Schiller, Jack's Boat Rentals. Discussion and possible approval of revocable license for the use of Gull Pond. John, did you have something to?
Okay. So this is, well.
Take it.
Okay.
Take that one. Go stereo.
Why don't you, can you give the overview first, Tom, and then I'll jump in.
Sure. This is a second time that this comes before the Select Board. Mr. Schiller had put in a request relative to putting a kayak rack down at Gull Pond. There were some concerns relative to that. The Conservation Commission has provided a memorandum relative to that as well. We went back and checked with our departments, as is the case, and the board could, if they opted to do a couple of things, they could grant a license and then go to town meeting, subject to any approvals of other regulatory boards and commissions. They could not do this now and bring this to a town meeting, because it eventually has to go to town meeting anyways for use of town property, just like we do for Max and other places. We have to bid it for use of property.
Right.
Or the board could simply, based on memorandums from departments, make a determination not to let it go forward. But I think those are your three options. Did I miss something, John?
You nailed everything.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Are you going to have a presentation from the applicant, or I had a couple questions for the town administrator, but I can wait until after the applicant.
Okay, yeah,
presents.
I'd like to have the applicant speak.
Yeah, can everyone hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, this is Mike Schiller. So the last I had heard, right, y'all had voted 3-2 in favor of the concession and having the assistant town administrator put together an RFP, and I know there were some legalities and it got more complicated. And the way I understood it now was that Mr. Bugby had moved that rather than set up a full-blown concession at Gull Pond, that we just be given permission to do deliveries to Gull Pond. And that addresses at least some of the accessibility issues that I had brought up in terms of people who can't lift or carry their own boats, people who can't transport a sunfish. And I'm willing to consider, that option of just delivering at Gull Pond, even within limits of, number of boats or number of people served or whatever per day, per week, per summer. But it would be a nice half measure that still addresses our customer interest, still addresses Wellfleet's recreational interest, still protects the pond by not having any permanent or even, semi-permanent summer structure there. And I think that's how I understood the proposition in front of the select board for right now.
Do you want to talk now? Okay. I think the issue is with the legal permissions to lease town land. It needed to go to town meeting first before the select board could go out to bid, similar to what we did for Max. And but you could issue a revocable license, but it could not go out to bid until that happened.
So through the chair, could I just ask for some clarification?
Yes, certainly.
So I guess I'm confused about a couple things. I think I understand the distinction between having a concession, which would require procurement. And it sounds like that as an alternative, it was suggested to have just drop-offs and pickups. That would be by a license. And you would not need to do the procurement process, is that correct?
Yeah, I don't think the scope of the work changes the fact that it needs to go to town meeting before it can be issued as an RFP. Either a revocable license is issued to do any activity on town land, and then it can go through the process of getting approved at town meeting, and that's Mass General Law. Any use of town land needs to be approved at town meeting first before the select board can approve the lease of town land. That's per town council. I think the opinion is in your packet. I realize that the scope of dropping off and not using the rack may change. Maybe the scope changes how it's interpreted by town council, but when I asked town council how the procurement for this activity should be handled, the answer was the board has three options. Either they can send it to town meeting and then procure it if it's approved at town meeting, meaning the lease of town property. They can issue a revocable license while that process plays out, or they can just deny it, and it kind of goes away until it's tabled, until it's revisited. I will also say that when I explained to Leisha, our conservation agent, that this issue is being revisited, she did ask to be heard. She has serious concerns about the activity at Gull Pond, and those activities are laid out in the letters that are in the packet. Her Tom and I spoke to her at length today, and I think it goes beyond the letters. I don't know if she's online or not, but if she is, maybe she can speak to it. But just to wrap up what I was saying, so to perform any activity on town land, according to town council, it must be approved by town meeting first. That is the process, unless you issue a revocable license prior to that. And if that happens, it still needs to go through that process, but that buys them time to go through that process. So I know that explanation was a little choppy, but it was a little choppy in the email, but in the end, that is how it works.
So through the chair, just to follow up, I guess I still don't understand why it has to go to town meeting, and we don't have council's letter in the packet. No, I don't have an email from council in the packet.
read it.
I mean, I don't know if it's the case that every time we consider use of town property, it has been gone to town meeting first. I just respectfully am not sure that's the case. So maybe we can have a discussion on the merits and then get back to that, because I don't want to hog all this time. So again, I think it's possible to issue a license if the board's agreeable, but maybe we can go into the merits, hear testimony
Before
on
we
the
do,
merits.
is Leisha online?
Yep, she can talk.
Okay, I'd like to hear what she has to, but go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, so, I mean.
Yes, I'm online.
Before we get into the merits, if we choose to move forward with recommending a concession, a permanent use of space, then yes, it has to go to town meeting because it's a dispensation of land. We just voted in our consent agenda to allow this gentleman with his business to drop off boats. That does not need to go to town meeting. So we can,
It's the term.
we can allow this business to drop off and pick up boats for this season. It sounds to me that if we, as a board, and I know it's a split decision 3-2, to move forward with the permanent concession, that's not going to happen until next season. So we'd likely take this up at fall town meeting. So I think we're having two separate discussions tonight. One is, do we want to allow Jack's Boat Rental to drop off and pick up boats at Gull Pond this season? And do we want to have town administration further pursue a more permanent business that has to go out to public bid? So it might be this company, it might be another company. But then that lease would then go to town meeting for final approval.
There's two things I'd like to have answered. Rebecca, do you recall, I don't recall the picnic table issue at Max going to town meeting, did it?
It went to town
Yes.
meeting.
Oh, did it? Okay, I stand corrected then.
I brought it to town meeting. It needed to.
Okay. The other thing is I would like to hear from Leisha.
Yes.
I'm here. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I sent a letter to you this afternoon. So I'm sorry I didn't get to you sooner. But the issue of whether the boats stay at Gull Pond as concession or are dropped off there, the environmental impacts and the adverse environmental impacts are the same. That is crucial spawning habitat for diadromous fish such as herring and American eel. There's even endangered state-listed rare plant species in the pond, on the edges of the pond. And I'm not sure if you folks remember that Jack's Boat Rental previously operated out of Gulls Pond, but there was so much substantial degradation to shoreline vegetation, the sluiceway between Gull and Higgins Pond, and then inland bank around the pond, that the town worked with National Park Service to essentially end all commercial kayak operations out of Gull Pond. The impacts were so severe that it created increased erosion into the pond from stormwater such as rain. And so that leads to elevated risks of harmful algal blooms. And the sluiceway became so degraded that there were real relevant concerns to the continued ability to support healthy fish nurseries. So regardless of how the rentals get there, I really think we need to think about environmental impacts. And, you know, the ponds are beautiful and some of the healthiest ponds on the Cape because they've been protected from intensive human use. So allowing commercial rental operations there kind of undoes a lot of the conservation progress that we've had in the last couple decades.
Josh?
Mr. Chair, through you to our conservation agent. Can you help me understand what the adverse impact is of a commercial operation versus a private operation of a vessel? I mean, the town of Wellfleet has boat racks at Gull Pond for private use. We have no prohibition on bringing your own vessel if you have one.
Sure. Yeah, no, that's a really good question, Josh. I appreciate you asking that. So the racks that we have at anywhere in town for kayak, for personal small vessel use, those are all permitted through the Conservation Commission. And when you actually start to tally up the amount of people that use those racks, it's very limited compared to commercial use. So personal use and commercial use, the amount is so much less than commercial use. But added to that is the people that tend to have those racks that live in town feel a stewardship to the land, and the non-residents don't understand the nuances of these environments. And what happens is that they end up dragging those small vessels on shorelines, across the sluiceway into Higgins Pond, and really degrading the area around. So I think the key thing that you need to think about is a lot of people that live in Wellfleet feel responsible for keeping Wellfleet, and the non-residents don't quite have that sense of stewardship. And then the use, commercial use for anything is obviously going to be significantly higher than private use.
That answer your question?
It does, thank you.
Sheila?
Well,
And
I'm, if I may.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a letter from the National Seashore recommending that we don't do this. We have our conservation agent, which holds weight, asking not to do this. And we have our Natural Resource Advisory Board recommending that we don't do this. Now, we did just permit him to be able to use 2 other areas, so it's not like we're saying no to any of his business. And our ponds are, we want to say that they're pristine and all. They're not really pristine. They're on the edge. And Gull Pond is one of those ponds. And I think the more we can do to protect our ponds, which is a very big draw, because eventually, if we don't do this, we may have to close the pond. It will have algae blooms, and they just did that down in Eastham, and it's coming this way if we don't take care. So I don't know I can't see a reason to approve this. I think that we're getting the advice from the people we need to get the advice from, and we should take it.
Okay. Ryan, you have your hand up?
Yeah, a few things. First off, the Cape Cod National Seashore indicated a number of conditions that we might want to consider. We discussed this at our previous discussion on this item, and Mr. Schiller was amenable to those conditions. At the time, we were discussing basically a 1-year license. The idea was that it would be 1 year and we would assess how it went. I wouldn't be comfortable looking at, a long term until we kind of assess how it might go over the course of a season. Wellfleet's general bylaws require a town meeting approval for any license that goes over more than 3 years. So, if it's under, maybe it's acceptable. I don't know. I'm not sure how you would necessarily value this little, the corral area. At least when it comes to common landings that are laid out under Chapter 88. Chapter 88, Section 19 reserves the sole authority to regulate them to select boards and city councils. That's inclusive of small vessels and kayak racks. I don't know why the Conservation Commission is permitting or even has the small vessel regulations. They are either the property of the select board or the harbor master as the regulating authority over vessels, and especially on common landings that are laid out under Chapter 88 of Mass General Law.
Mr. Chair.
I just wanted to say something.
Go right ahead.
As far as the letter from the Interior Department, they recommended such things as monitoring, for instance, at the sluiceway, and I'm not sure how practical that is.
Jack said agreed.
Please,
station.
I'm not finished.
Sorry.
And yes, the conservation agent is not the determining authority on this question, but we have these advisory people and boards for a reason. And I tend to agree with my colleague Sheila that we should be paying attention to them. I'd like to also point out that on the agenda, I have stated that public comment will be taken, and it looked like there were a couple of people that wanted to speak to this a minute ago. Sheila, did you have something?
No, I just, this was denied, and just last year it was approved. And I'm not saying anything about Mr. Schiller. I know that he'll probably do everything he can, as he says he will, but once it's in the hands of the people who rent this, it's out of his control. And it is documented here of the erosion and the damage that has occurred in the past, which made the board deny this application at Gull Pond in the past. And then we decided to do it against this advice. We are here to be stewards. I'm sorry I am in this position. I don't want to be against anybody in their business, but this is something that we need to care for. And if it closes because of this activity, if it degrades, it's because of this action tonight. So I think with climate change, with all of the things that are confronting the fragility of where we live, we need to take the advice of those who know something about that natural resource and listen to them and follow their advice. I am going to vote no on this, and I hope others do too.
So through the chair, can
yes.
I ask a quick question to anyone who knows the answer? When Jack's Boat Rental previously operated out of Gulls Pond, was that under prior ownership, or does this refer to current ownership?
Prior ownership and at a different location. They had their own set of stairs that went down to the pond. Those stairs were removed. They had been discontinued essentially, and we removed them, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago permanently, even though they were no longer in use. They started to fall apart. And basically it came out roughly, I would say 100 feet down off to the left-hand side of where, the landing is currently. So it was a different location. And yeah, they were, when they were there, they were basically on vegetation because there was no, there was no beach there. And it wasn't like they were upland. They were, on the pond. There was, I think they even had a few sunfishes on moorings there as well. So the situation is a little different because, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I have 2 people with hands up, the applicant and Helen Wilson. And okay. I'm going to try to keep comments to as close as possible to 3 minutes like we do during public comment. It's already 8 o'clock and we're not halfway through the agenda yet. So go ahead, Mr. Schiller, and then Helen.
Okay. The, uh, hey, I just wanted to comment that I am at heart an environmentalist and I do care. And I often make the comment that the best way to protect something is to really get to know it and to use it so that you have firsthand experience. I'm happy to create the information that I would give to any customers that go upon to both the kind of information that comes from friends of Wellfleet Ponds and things that we create ourselves to make sure that people understand the fragility and the sensitivity of the pond itself, a whole bunch of rules that they would need to follow. And per the original application, which is a little bit different now, but happily donate the services of myself and my team for the summer to do a weekly or otherwise periodic cleanup, right? And just kind of paddle the whole pond and manage trash, manage any damage that was anybody had created. So would like to put some time and effort into that process. Yeah, what Ryan had said was all true, right? The previous regime and previous ownership did have a spot on the pond. They may or may not have always been as careful as they could have been. We're only going to access the pond via the already paved ramp that everybody uses to launch their boats. We'll never be working anywhere else on the shoreline to the extent that we can give people the right information so that they treat the pond well. I think that should go a long way. And I'll come back to the last point, which is, access is always a big issue. We have lots of people who even live in town who are older, who are single, who have their own physical limitations, who can't bring a boat to Gull Pond, who can't participate in activities there, and don't have other choices. Gull Pond is a really special place, as everyone's already noted. We limit how many people can enjoy that, and we'd like to make it more accessible so that people can appreciate it and, yes, continue to preserve the pond. So I'm hopeful that we could at least be allowed to do deliveries and pickups there so as to let more people into the game.
Okay, Helen?
Yes, I was there for an intense go-round about the use of the public landing at Gull Pond for just this purpose. And I'd like to highlight something that Alicia McKenna said, our conservation agent. The problem really is the degree of use. And at that time, and it would happen again, there were way more people going to the far side of the pond at the sluice, which is, in terms of access for an ambulance, for example, a nightmare. And the idea that the company that would be doing this would have somebody there during the daylight hours, because people are out on the water, until the end of the day, right? The result of having so many people able to go to other parts of the pond, specifically right across it with such ease, was that there were dirty diapers, there were people relieved themselves, people left trash, and you say you'd go and pick it up, but the degree of the degree of maintenance and the degree of scrutiny and the safety issues is, and check with Suzanne Grout-Thomas, our beach administrator, but what I remember was that was one of the main reasons, aside from the degradation of the environment, the washouts and the sort of the erosion. That was really, in my memory, the line that was crossed. And it was simply that there were so many boats able to go across and use that part of the pond, which is very beautiful, and we don't ever want to close it. But it took a while for that to come back. And I go out there maybe twice a year or something. And it was really chewed up. And frankly, in the middle of summer, really dirty. It stank. Thank you.
Thank you. Leisha?
I just want to say one or two more things before you all vote. First is that the degradation doesn't just happen where the access point is. It's happening 360 degrees around that pond. Plymouth gentian, an endangered plant species, it's those little pink flowers that you see in shallow water. That was all over Gulls Pond, and now it's gone. There's only a few pockets of it, and we're starting to get it back now that we've stopped the commercial activity. And then, so it's not just about access. The degradation is happening 360 degrees around the pond. But the other thing that I want to note is that you can't preserve what you've already lost. And we've already lost it once. So I really want the board to think about that. You can't preserve what
Can
you've
we
already lost.
have a minimum of conversation in the crowd, please? Thank you. Alicia, I'm sorry, are you done?
Oh, yep, that's all. Thank you.
Um,
Appreciate your time.
John?
One last thing. There is also a question about jurisdiction and whether the planning board has jurisdiction over the area in question. And so the question that I still am waiting for an answer from town council on is it the responsibility of the applicant to get the necessary permits needed to carry out the activity, or is it up to the town to get those permits before we put it out to bid? And I don't have an answer yet, but that's another complication to be considered.
So through the chair, what is the planning board jurisdiction?
Leisha can probably speak to it better than I, but I believe it was 100 feet from the shoreline, is if my memory's... Go ahead,
John, I'm
Leisha.
sorry. I think you just misspoke. It's conservation jurisdiction.
What did I say?
Conservation jurisdiction.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes,
Okay.
conservation. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Got it. I understand. Withdrawn. So, okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
I hope I'm not talking over you,
Ryan, go ahead.
I've gotten conflicting advice before about the interaction of Chapter 88, which governs the use of common landings, and the authority of the Conservation Commission. A common landing is basically laid out in a similar process to laying out a road. I've gotten conflicting reports on it, but then I asked Stu Smith, who is the interim harbor master, about it, and I had asked the former harbor master in Provincetown, and they were pretty clear that Chapter 88, Section 19 reserves the sole authority over common landings to the select board, and the select board is the only one that can regulate the use of common landings in any shape or form, because otherwise it would defeat the purpose of a common landing, which is to provide access to water bodies.
I think that could be argued, if I may, argued that we're talking about oceanfront and
The
harbor
Great
master
Ponds, you're
fees.
required to lay out a common landing on
That's
every Great
common
Pond.
common landing, but we have also power of making this decision.
Yes.
Yeah.
The select board is the regulatory
With the
authority
advice
over.
of those who are our agents to tell us these things.
Before I go further, are there people in the room who would like to speak to this? Okay, then, is there anyone else online? Okay, then I think we're ready for a motion at this point, unless anyone else has anything further.
Okay, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
So, Mr. Chairman, I move to approve a license with conditions be issued to Jack's Boat Rentals, Mike Schiller, for the use of Gull Pond as a drop-off area for kayaks from May 18th, 2026 to September 30th, 2026.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Can I think about it for a minute?
Take your time.
All right, Barbara, aye.
Sheila, no.
Josh, aye.
John, no.
Is subject to can we make it subject to conditions set by the National Park Service?
Through the chair, subject to conditions set by town staff.
Okay.
If, right now.
Ryan, aye.
Okay, then,
Here, Mr. Schiller.
so what was the count?
It was
3
2 to 3.
in favor.
Okay.
3-2 in favor. The motion passes with conditions set by town staff.
And town staff should look at the conditions recommended by the National Park Service that Mr. Schiller has previously expressed.
Yes, there's a copy of that in your packet.
Yep.
Okay, Mr. Schiller, you got your hand up, and then I'd like to move on.
Yeah, I just want to, should I work with Mr. Bugby directly then to
Yes.
take this forward?
And so, yes, work with me. What will happen is we will work on a draft license agreement that will have conditions as agreed to by the town administrator. But yes, contact me and we will work together on this.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Select Board. Appreciate your consideration.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
5 minutes? Okay, I've been requested to, and I could actually use it myself, a 5-minute recess, as this is going to go on for a little while, so I think we could all use a moment.
We're adjourned.
Sick. Back on? You're good. Good.
Okay.
Recording in progress.
Back in session at 8:21. Okay, up to use of town property, item D, to discuss the use of town property at the pier. John, do you want to lead off?
So have you all read my memo from January?
Yes?
Yes. Okay. So this is the same argument that we just had, and that is there are pieces of town property being used that have not gone through the approval process, have not gone through the procurement process. We need to decide how they are going to be handled, whether it be through a license, through going through the town meeting process, or otherwise, depending on what the board says. But in January, I went through all our, with the help of Rebecca, all our town properties that we currently lease or otherwise, and there was a handful of properties that haven't not gone through the procurement process, nor could I identify one that still need to be addressed. I am not going to opine on how they came to be, because that goes way beyond my tenure, but all I can tell you is that there is private operations, private activities going on town property, and for that to occur properly, it needs to go through a process. The process, as stated by town council, includes either the same process we talked about, a revocable license issued by this board, or being put to town meeting for approval, followed by a procurement process. The procurement process is overseen by, it's 30B, it's called real property. I've done quite a few of them. It's a different process, but it's a process nonetheless. So And the two properties in question, just to get it out there, are the operations of the Pickards that are at the marina. And I also became aware that there's another charter fishing boat that also occasionally has a base of operations that is on town property. Those are valuable pieces of town property. And I've received many calls regularly about whether people can set up operations on town property. What is the process? And those operations should have a process. And so with that, I'm here to listen.
Josh?
Yeah, so I suppose the question is, going back to your memo, that there's one or two, sounds like Wellfleet Marine, the boat rental, and then also a charter fishing operation, have structures in the, on the marina that we don't have clear documentation if there's ever a procurement process to be done.
Correct.
Have we engaged either of those businesses to ask what the history is of those two structures?
Through the chair, yes. We had conversations and email correspondence with Alfred Pickard, where we were notified that there had been a court case that had been settled that would have granted them access or whatever their business down there. I went to the registry of deeds, the court, excuse me, and could not find anything. So I trusted counsel to do a search because they probably are better at it than I am. They could not find a case that indicated that. I'm not saying there isn't one. I'm just saying I haven't been able to find any information on it.
Has the business offered the court case that?
Mr. Picard did note that he would go back and look into his files, but he and I haven't reconnected on that.
Okay.
Okay. Well, the interested party is here. Is the interested party for the charter boat operation here? That would be the Aaron H., I believe. Or,
At the time the packet was created, that was new news to me, and I have not had time to do research. That even your information is new to me, but I'm happy to reach out and convey that information, but I don't believe that they've been notified, no.
Tom?
I think based on that, and this is just an offer, and the board can do with it what it wants, I think we need to get the other property owner up to speed as well. It's not, I don't think we should be highlighting our thoughts tonight on one particular business when the other business isn't here to discuss it too. And I think it's only fair that the other person be available to discuss this. I don't want to put things off. People have been sitting here for a couple and a half hours.
Yep.
I understand that, but I don't think that we would be doing a thorough job without having all parties that may be involved with this decision that the board has to make not being present.
I agree. Since one of the interested parties is here, Alfred, do you have something you'd like to speak to on this, like regarding the court case or anything else?
I think I'd rather wait till everybody's on board instead of doing this piecemeal. When we do that enough, let's see if we can do this one right.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Josh.
Josh?
To me, these are two separate issues. I know that they're related because there's a proximity, but they are separate. For what it's worth, just for the rest of the board, I think the boat rental operation is a key core component of the marina. I don't think anyone here is looking to change that. I think that there is question whether it has to run through the same process that other businesses in the marina have had to run through in order to use town property. I think that if anything is out of compliance, it should be a easy to follow and hopefully simple process to come into compliance. That shouldn't meet any restriction or friction either side. But nonetheless, I think the rules have to be applied evenly to all businesses at the marina.
Well, yeah, I'd be in favor of handling this jointly instead of, as Mr. Pickard put it, piecemeal. And I note on the last page of Mr. Bugby's comments that he states that my recommendation would be that the Select Board permission be granted to further investigate the parcels in question with Town Council's approval if needed. Once the investigative work has been completed, the TA's office would then return to the Select Board with findings and recommended corrective actions. By this process, the town can determine whether we do have any type of these parcels, and if so, begin the process by which we can bring them into legal compliance. That seems to be the fairest way to handle it.
So, and that's exactly how I still feel. Those conversations have happened with town council, and they mimic what I just stated about your choices. And I'm happy to wait to have this discussion later when the other party is contacted, but I will tell you, the discussion and the arguments will be exactly the same. The options and the parameters, and I guess maybe we could get more advice from town council and get further direction from town council on what the options are exactly, but yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Okay, now do you need any motions or further direction from us to proceed, Tom?
No, the board would defer this to another meeting. I might suggest a workshop on this. I think there's a lot of layers to the onion, but there's a lot of history here. I don't know all the history. I don't know all the paperwork.
All right.
But I think there's more to this than simply, and it may not be, but I think there may be more to this than simply a use of town property. I don't know if there's anything in the record.
Okay, well, we can discuss that further, but I think we do need to have a definite direction here so that we can set a meeting and get this done.
Yeah, I actually may want counsel online for this too.
Okay. Barbara?
Yeah, through the chair. I mean, we did this with Max a few years ago.
Yeah,
I think
that's
right after
correct.
I got on the board. So, I mean, there is, and John Bugby described the process. So it's not something, it's not kind of reinvention. It's just that, I think admin is suggesting it's the same process. So.
No, but there are more people to reach out to and more facts to gather, so.
Just,
Josh?
Mr. Chair, just to be clear, I mean,
And Ryan's got his hand up, too.
they're independent cases. We don't need to wait for everyone to be on board. We can address these one at a time if needed. I mean, I would love to understand the context and the history behind this. This does seem to me to be a similar process to what Member Carboni articulated, and I don't understand why we're waiting.
Well, I don't think they are separate issues. They're both uses of town property, and they're both very similar uses of town property in the same location.
Right, but we should be addressing them individually. They're not connected.
John, what?
That's
good.
true.
I just said he's correct. I'm sorry, I probably talked too loud, but yes, he's correct.
What you're saying is at hand here tonight.
I mean, I suppose so. I mean, this is just my opinion. I don't know what we're waiting for, I guess is my question.
My intent was to have everybody in the room at the same time, so you could do it once. That was all.
I would prefer that myself. but-
John?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
The only thing I was going to add is the only advantage perhaps in waiting is that I can further define what the legalities are from town council. I'm fairly confident in my explanation in that the process would follow exactly what we did for Max. However, if you wanted something to read, to further define case law, et cetera, maybe that time would be used in that fashion, but that's just what came to mind, that's all.
Okay, Ryan?
Yeah, I have a few thoughts, and the first is if there was a settlement, that would change the facts of the matter on one of these issues, or you know that's a substantial change if it can be produced. You know, maybe it exists or maybe not. We don't know. I know council's tried to find it, so I'm thinking more likely than not it doesn't exist, but we don't know for certain. The second one is kind of so there's I know this is about the structures on the pier. I don't know what they would be, the square footage that they're on, what it would be valued at, because they're fairly small. I've seen in a lot of harbors that they incorporate a set fee for particularly for charter boat operators. I think they do that in Sasua as an example, for the being able to have a little booth on the pier or at the marina. That might be a better way of handling this, if it's possible, is to define a fee schedule for the use or for that type of use. There actually used to be more booths on the pier. There's fewer than there used to be now. But I mean, is it just the fact that the structures are on the pier, or is it the fact that a commercial business is being run out of the pier? Because there's multiple, like charter operators or whatever that might have a sign on their boat, might not. But if possible, if we can do it through a fee schedule, I think that would offer the most flexibility. The use of the docks to host sailboats for a business is a little different. I'm not sure exactly how to handle that. I'm more just thinking of the structures themselves. So thank you.
Well, we're talking about structures on, that occupy space, just like the picnic tables at Max occupied space on town property.
So it's because of the relatively small size that they occupy. For Max, that area is pretty substantial. But if you look at, a little booth, how big is it? What's the square footage on the pier? Is it, 80 square feet? That would be like an 8 by 10, and these booths are typically smaller than that. And then at that point, like, is it below the $35,000 threshold? And if it is, then we could, probably do it through a use of town property. But anytime we do that, it'd be best if it was incorporated into a fee schedule that's specific to the marina.
I think what complicates, through you, Mr. Chair, I think what complicates this issue is that it's never gone through a public procurement process where everyone has an opportunity to weigh in and bid on that space at the marina. It's valuable space. A lot of vendors would be interested in occupying that space. And that process, I could not identify a process where that's taken place. And that's the key missing component to all this.
So we need to develop a process.
Well, there's a process established by statute.
Right, Alfred?
I have one question for Mr. Bugby, okay? He thinks this is worth a lot of money. You tell me how a 6 by 16 or 6 by 18 rental booth has a lot of value if you don't have a boat slip. The only reason that works for us or the other people is because the slip is there. So if I don't have a slip, who's going to bid on a booth that they can't use it for anything? I mean, this is getting ridiculous. I mean, I realize we should probably pay a fee. I don't have a problem with that. We've had a business license down there since 1954, okay? So I'm not opposed to this. I'm opposed to the fact that some gentleman believes that this is worth a lot of money. It's a 3-wide outhouse, all right? Max is a whole different program, all right? He got a license for 3 years, then it went out to town meeting, or 2 years. I don't, it's none of my business, okay? But if you take the rental booth away, I still have the slips, I can run a business. So you tell me with a huge value that this gentleman is looking for in this booth. This is what frosts me. If somebody else has the slips, it may have a value. That's all.
I don't think I made mention of the value of the space. I said what was missing was the procurement process, and we truly don't know the value because we've never gone through that process. That's all. It may be worth, it may not be, I don't know, but
Is there
the
merit?
public market that's the purpose of the procurement process and the purpose of the open market concept, that's all.
Is there merit to considering, as Ryan suggested, a fee schedule for that type of thing?
Yes, you could do that. You could issue a license and establish a fee for the time period it takes for us to, A, approve the lease of town property at town meeting, followed by a procurement process through the 30B real property statute.
Is a parking space on the marina considered a lease? We rent them out. I mean, where does this go? I mean, I'm getting half a space deep. The other gentleman, who we're not going to talk about tonight, his booth's the same size as your table. Two of you can't get in. I can't get in there with somebody my size. It's that small. I mean, all they are is so that our customers know where we are. You know, there's a computer in there, a credit card machine, and things of that. We have life jackets. That's why our booth is larger than the other people, because I have a bunch of rental boats and I don't leave the life jackets in the boat. So when everybody goes out, I hand them to them. It's a safety factor. I would love to see where this big value you're going to get out of this deal is.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
So I agree with Mr. Picard. I don't think this needs to be a big deal.
Yeah.
I think that this just needs to have a really simple process to come into conformity like everyone else does. I think the concern is that individuals in town feel like rules are applied to some and not to others. And the question is, if someone else wanted to bring in a 10 by 8 building structure on the marina, run a business, maybe sell their art, et cetera, how do we tell them, no, you can't do it? And so it's
Last time.
Yeah, please.
Put it as part of our slip lease.
Sure. I think that's a
Simple.
great idea.
If you don't want a bunch of art, whatever, if you don't want condo land, I get that. So just make it part of our slip lease. In order to have a rental booth, a charter booth, a whatever booth that is part of the marine use only in your bylaw, however you can function it as part of the rules and regulations at the marina if you want, each slip is allowed a booth, providing that it meets the requirements of, so it's not automatically given.
Yeah, I think allowing every slip a booth might be problematic, but I understand where you're going with this.
I'm just saying, you're talking about a mechanism.
Yep.
So if you have a slip and you can prove the need for a mechanism, and it's not detrimental to the town, I mean, at one point there was 6 down there.
No, I think, well, Mr. Chair, through you, I think this is a really reasonable solution to this.
I do too.
I would rather see us spend some time on something that really makes a difference.
Sure.
And I mean, yes, I have a booth. There are other people who are probably jealous. If they want to come down and work every Sunday all summer long, knock themselves out.
Sure.
Well, it makes sense to me. Question is, how do we?
So my thought, I don't even want to call it a recommendation at this point, I've got more thinking to do on it, would be for us to look at a fee structure, talk to council on a fee structure, talk to council on the possibility of incorporating it, that was a good idea, by the way, Alfred, into the slip rental fee. And, or if we do that, do we still have to procure it? Because, and those are the questions that we need to ask council.
Great.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to.
Then I think we can wrap this up for now.
Okay.
Business.
Oh. We got Herring River.
Yep.
Yep.
Business.
They're both on.
Oh, okay. So we're moving on to business item A, Herring River Restoration, to approve and execute the order of taking on Williams Pond.
You want to open it to?
Yeah, Katie, are you on?
Yeah, I think, good evening. I think Carol was going to speak initially, is that?
Okay.
If I may, Mr. Chair.
Hi, Carol.
Good evening, Carol Ridley, Coordinator for the Herring River Restoration Project. As you may recall, we've discussed with the board over a number of months the need for a land exchange with the Cape Cod National Seashore for certain land rights that are needed for the Herring River Restoration Project. And the land exchange involves roughly the town receiving a half-acre parcel right at Duck Harbor Road and Chequaset Neck Road, adjacent to the bridge, that's going to be used for some parking and access down to a boating portage area by the bridge. And in addition, the town would obtain easement rights along a private access road that needs to be elevated for mitigation purposes for the project, and this property happens to be on Cape Cod National Seashore property. In exchange, the National Park Service, Cape Cod National Seashore, would obtain roughly a 2.5-acre parcel adjacent to Williams Pond, the 4 Williams Pond parcel. And back in October, town meeting provided authorization through Article 7, to acquire title to that parcel at 4 Williams Pond, and then in Article 8 to enter into the land exchange with the park, as just described. And so this evening, you are asked to take 2 actions, and I'll just lay them out, and then you can certainly, Katie can fill in details on the work she's done to prepare some of these items. One is to adopt the order of taking for Williams Pond, which is the first step in that process of acquiring the title to that property. And then the second is to approve and authorize execution by the board of a preliminary land exchange agreement between the town and the National Park Service that basically spells out what each party is bringing to the exchange. And once that preliminary agreement is executed, the National Park Service would provide work scopes for additional appraisals that will be needed for all of those land interests, some title work that would be needed, and because it's a land exchange with the Park Service, there have to be environmental assessments conducted on those properties as well. All of that work would be undertaken following the preliminary exchange agreement. All that work would be funded through grants that have been made available to the town for the Herring River Restoration Project, so they wouldn't require additional expenditures by the town. So, there are actually 2 motions we would like you to entertain this evening. One is actually in the memo in your packet, and I apologize, one of them was I left out of the memo, but I emailed that to Tom and to Rebecca, and I'm happy to read that motion, both of which Katie has helped to put together. So I'll leave it there, and then Katie, maybe if there's anything else you want to highlight.
Sure.
What, Tom wanted?
I just wanted to note, we just received that second motion, so it's not like we just got it.
Is there a problem with that not having been on the agenda?
It's on the agenda, it's just not the motion.
If I may?
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's on the agenda. The only thing that's missing would be the motion itself.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I suppose, first of all, thank you for navigating the extreme complexity of what seems to be a fairly simple exchange of property. Can someone walk me through the $45,200 as compensation?
Well, the town retained an appraiser, and that appraiser did, their determination that was the value of this property. It's essentially landlocked. I know that there was a higher value initially, but after assessing the property further, it came down to the 45,000 approximately, and that was done with the town's appraiser.
Thank you. And to whom are we paying this to?
You are paying, okay, let me go back a couple of steps. So this property has been under consideration for a number of years. And in 2025, I think it was, we had title work done. And the owners of this property were determined under an 1889 deed, and it was 3 gentlemen. And there's a different lineage as to each person, but the 3 people were named in that 1889 deed, and they're listed on schedule, or I guess it's Exhibit B of the order of taking. So their names were George Baker, Arthur H. Rogers, and Ernest I. Nye, and they were the owners in 1889. And our title attorney did further work as to those individuals and followed their descendants down, but couldn't find anyone currently living. There were no probates for a number of these individuals, or the lines basically have died out, or at least we couldn't determine who those people are. So you'll see on your Exhibit B that we've listed the heirs of those 3 people that we're aware of. It's a little bit more complicated. I think you have had the title in the past. I'm not sure you have it this evening, but in any event, these are just the names of the last known persons to own this property. Would be, Sally D. Morse and Rodney Morse under, the heirs of George Baker. So we have $45,000 being the value of the property, and a third of each of that, meaning $15,000, would be payable to each of these lines. However, we don't have any people to actually pay. And one of the other you're being asked, we're going to do a legal advertisement in the paper setting forth this information. So to give people an opportunity to read. The only information we have are names at this point, but some descendant might be aware of it, of this person being a grandfather or great-grandfather or something of that nature. But if no people come forward, and we know what percentage each of these people get of the 1/3, if nobody comes forward, then the money gets just retained by the town. And then after, there's a certain chapter 200A, under which the town could return this $45,000 to its coffers, essentially, after going through certain procedures under Chapter 200A. So it's possible that this money could end up being paid back to the town. What we don't want it to do is to escheat to the state. But it's possible it could end up back in the general fund for the town.
Thank you.
Ryan.
Ryan?
You said
by the way, I'm not taking public comment on this.
Yep. You said that the last known owners were on Exhibit C.
No, I think I said I meant B if I didn't say B.
All right, that would make you
Exhibit
an
B.
interested party.
Owners and Damages Award. Is that correct,
Ex-
Ryan?
Exhibit B is description of land.
It's Exhibit A, Ryan.
Okay. Sorry,
Exhibit-
anytime there's something old, I get nervous. Just because, I don't know. I have to be careful.
We have somebody who may be able to speak to it, and I'm going to recognize Tim Sayer because he is a descendant, apparently.
Well, I will have to make sure, but my great-grandfather's name was George Baker, and we owned multiple pieces of property around this town. Some of them inside where the national park is, and they had to pay us for them. Some of them on Great Pond, some of them downtown where his bakery was, which burned to the ground, et cetera. So I would be interested in looking at those documents and try to prove that I'm an heir to the property.
I just, if I could, I think that if the Seashore did pay your, I don't know if your claim is still there.
No, they didn't pay for that piece. They paid for a piece that they took without permission, and we sued them with MIT and won for that piece. This piece has never been disputed, so that was another piece. So I would be happy to see the paperwork, and I'm hoping I'm going to get some of this money. Thank you.
I feel like I'm in a Hallmark movie where.
And the town appreciates a donation back.
Yes, exactly. How kind of you.
No. This is
Yeah,
special.
I'm prepared to make a motion, Mr. Chair, if we.
Sure.
If no one else on the board, I can make the first motion.
Yep, go ahead.
I move that the Select Board approve and execute an order of taking for property located at Williams Pond and authorize Town Council to record the executed order of taking with the Barnstable County Registry of Deeds. Per the appraisal of the property, the Town Administrator is authorized to pay and/or reserve for further payment the sum of $4,200 as compensation for said taking. I further move that the Town Administrator cause a legal advertisement in the form, in the form prepared by Town Council to be published on 2 consecutive weeks in a newspaper of general circulation in the Town of Wellfleet. Said publications to occur no later than May 29th, 2026.
Mr. Yustin, would you restate the number you stated, 4,200?
My apologies. As stated previously with the amendment of $45,200.
Thank you, sir.
There we go. Second.
Roll call vote.
Ryan, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
And John, aye. Passes 4-0 with 1 recusal.
I don't have the
There was
second
another motion.
Now, the other motion, hold on, folks, I'll pull it right up.
Can we email it to Ryan?
Here.
Oh, I'll take it.
Yeah, let's
This is
just
another
do
one.
it.
Okay.
Right.
Deep breath.
You read so well.
Oh, thanks so much. I move that the Select Board vote to approve and execute a preliminary exchange agreement with the National Park Service so that the town may acquire certain properties being an approximately 0.5 parcel of land. Is that supposed to be acres?
Yeah.
0.50 acre parcel of land for a parking and boat access area and an approximately 0.88 acre easement in support of raising low-lying roads that will be affected by the Herring Road Restoration Project in exchange for a parcel of land located on Williams Pond, and further authorize the town administrator to take such actions as may be deemed necessary and convenient to accomplish said land exchange.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Ryan, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
John, aye. Passes 4-0 with 1
Got that for the
recusal.
record, 'cause I don't have anything.
Interesting.
Thank you.
We got one more thing,
Oh,
Oh, yeah, one more.
they do?
agenda item with this as well.
Is it Carol?
Yes. The next item?
What's the other agenda item?
Business B.
Oh, that's what it, oh, I'm sorry. Right. I got ahead of myself again.
I didn't see it either.
Okay, then moving on to business B, to approve 2 access agreements needed to allow mitigation work on 70 and 80 Mill Creek Lane. Carol?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, so these are 2 properties on Mill Creek Lane for which there is estimated to be potential impacts to their low-lying wells serving those properties. Honestly, the impacts are anticipated under full title restoration conditions, not Phase 1 conditions, which are permitted. However, it's going to be much more efficient to have that work done at this time under the existing contract with N&M Excavating, which is the town's contractor for the low roads and private property mitigation work that's underway. The property owners have been very cooperative with us in this endeavor. The contractor's been out there to scope things out. There are a couple of approvals that are pending. In fact, we're going to be before the Conservation Commission tomorrow for an RDA determination, and one matter before the Board of Health. But provided those two authorizations move ahead along with your approval of these access agreements, then we would hope to get that work done promptly. And I will just add one thing, that this agreement template is based on a version that's been used for other property mitigation work for the project that, Katie has helped to put together.
No, we're fine.
Go ahead.
I'm ready to make a motion with no
I
discussion.
don't have any questions.
I don't either.
Ryan, do you have your hand up?
No, I'm sorry if that's still
Move
up.
to approve and authorize the Select Board to execute 2 access agreements needed to allow work to be undertaken by the town's contractor on 70, map 19, parcel 67, and 80, map 19, parcel 68, Mill Creek Lane, respectively, as described in the agreements. This work constitutes mitigation required for the Herring River Restoration Project.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Ryan, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
John, aye. Passes 4-0 with 1 recusal.
There we go.
And
Thank you
we're
very,
back-
very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for all your work. It's
Have a
so
good night.
easily
Good evening.
easy to quit.
And this has item business C, Sharon Rule Ager, to discuss with the board member and alternate member terms and propose staggering.
She's online, okay.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So I am the chair of the Affordable Housing Trust, and I'm here with 2 requests. One is that when the trust members were reappointed last year for 2 years, which previously it had been 1 year, but we changed it to 2, we were all appointed at the same time, and thus our terms would end at the same time. And so I'm here to request that our terms be staggered so that every year, maybe 2 members have to get reappointed rather than everybody being reappointed at the same time, so that we don't have a mass turnover. So to that end, I mean, we are a select board appointed committee, so I believe that this is in your charge. And so to that end, I will be stepping down. I have already let Rebecca know this at the end of our June 17th meeting. And I request that my replacement, whoever that may be, would be appointed for a 2-year term as opposed to finishing out my term with a 1-year term. So does that make sense?
Yes, to me.
Okay. Any discussion?
Um,
Yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
We need to look at the bylaw for the Affordable Housing Trust. You said that it was changed to 2 years, correct?
Yes, previously it was a 1-year appointment, and last year we changed it to a 2-year appointment.
All right, was that by bylaw or just not?
It's a good question. I'm not entirely sure, and this doesn't have to necessarily be resolved tonight because I know this meeting has been going on for a long time. So I'm happy to meet with someone outside of a meeting and see if we could figure it out. But this is what we hope to have happen.
Yeah, I definitely support staggered terms. It's helpful for committees, especially, new committees. Typically, everybody is appointed at, and has largely the same terms, but if they're staggered, it just provides, yeah, it's a better structure. I just want to make sure that, yeah.
Tom?
So far as I know, it does not go against any trust bylaw, but I could be wrong.
Tom?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sharon, why don't you and I get together right after town meeting and try to work this through?
Okay.
We'll check
happy
the
to do that.
bylaws and do all that type of thing.
Okay, that's great. And the other request was that we would like the board to consider, and again, I don't know what the bylaw says on this, but we'd like to consider having alternates, both as a means of making sure we have a quorum if we are short, but also as a means to sort of provide a training ground for future members, because there's a lot of detailed information involved in being on the housing trust and an understanding of how housing works. So it takes a while to actually come up to speed if someone is not already in the field. And since we're volunteer members, many of us are not. So to start. So we'd like to just consider also, maybe Tom, you and I could have that discussion at the same time about whether that's a possibility.
Great.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I'm also a trustee of the Wellfleet Affordable Housing Trust as the Select Board designee. I'm highly supportive of this. I think just something to consider is that a municipal affordable housing trust is largely governed by state law, but there is a lot of flexibility on how trustee appointments and composition, let me rephrase that. The local municipality has a lot of flexibility in how the trust is established. So I do think it would be within our purview. I'm not sure if we would need a bylaw amendment. I know we have a bylaw amendment on this town meeting for AMI support, but we may want to revisit this as an additional amendment for fall town meeting if we want to add alternates, et cetera. But I do think we might need town council's just guidance on how we navigate Mass General Law and if there are any prescriptive or prohibited uses of trustee appointees.
Through the chair, any bylaw change, if there is necessary, would go to council as a matter of course for review and discussion. Let's see if the bylaw is in fact in place or if there's some other way we can do it. Sharon and I can work.
If I recall, the only requirement is that the chief executive of the town or its appointee has to be on the trust, but I think everything else is largely deferred to the town itself.
And you're the chief executive.
I'm the appointee of the chief executive.
Good.
Just looking, so benefit of being at home and on a computer. Just looking up the bylaw, it says that the term cannot exceed 2 years. That means that, next cycle, we might appoint a number to 1 year terms and then others to 2. To kind of stagger it. However, if there is a resignation or other vacancy that occurs, that's not part of the annual the reappointment cycle. That is restricted to it has to be the remainder of the term for that vacancy.
So if I step down after 1 year, then whoever replaces me would have to be a 1 year?
I believe so. It's under 2514D.
Okay, well, I'm happy to meet with Tom after town meeting. I know you guys have been here a long time tonight, and it's one of many very long meetings, so.
I mean, I am tired. I could be reading this wrong, so.
Me too.
but the 2 year, no more than 2 years,
Yeah.
it is in there. But that does allow the select board to the flexibility to stagger them. We just have to let people know.
Yeah.
That we're going to do some next reappointment cycle, we're going to do some as one and some year two, so that then going forward, everybody's staggered.
Okay.
Do we need a
Tom,
motion
shall we
for that?
meet?
No, you don't need a
After town
motion on
meeting?
that. Well, we will meet. Sharon, let me get in touch with you tomorrow with some possible dates and times, please.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks,
Yes,
Sharon.
thank you.
Moving on to business item D, Wellfleet Food Pantry. You know,
That you stuck it out.
you know, the patience of saints. And this, Cindy Batchelder and the attorney Bruce Behrens, to review and discuss and take possible votes on the Wellfleet Food Pantry's new location. And with that,
Evening, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much. We've been before the board once before. Since then, I'm pleased to say that we've achieved all of our milestones to date. On April 23rd, we received unanimous approval by the ZBA of all the requested special permits. They also approved all of our plans and our schematic drawings. We have provided you with a very detailed narrative of everything that's been accomplished so far, going all the way back to town meeting in 2024. I promise you that I am not going to read the narrative. Tonight, we need your approval of the motion, and what is very important is we also need the ground lease executed so that we can proceed to have executed our construction contract. The motion also provides for your approval of the plans and drawings. The only thing that has not been done yet is our landscaping plan, and the only reason that has not been done is that we need to have one final discussion with the National Park Service. That will be done shortly. They have given very, very strong approval to everything that we have done so far on the project. And I have nothing else to say, and we remain open to any questions.
does anyone on the board have any questions?
Oh, and by the way, the landscaping plan will be provided to you for your approval once it's done.
Okay.
Okay. Are there any questions for,
So real quickly, Mr. Chair, so there's two action items for the board tonight. One is approval of the lease agreement, the ground lease agreement, as drafted by town council and amended at a hearing of this board in conjunction with town council, with council for the food pantry. And you're also need to approve of the schematics and the drawings that were provided in the packet. That was part of that's conditional for their approval. So that needs to happen as well.
all right, Tom?
Just more of a general statement. The amount of work that the folks for the food pantry have done is heroic. This has not been a simple program, and we've tried to be as accommodating and helpful as we can, and we know there's been some hiccups during that course of time, but the amount of work that the folks have done to put this together is just amazing and should be recognized.
I can tell that from the plans.
We appreciate your cooperation.
I have, the agenda does indicate that public comment is welcome, if there is any. I don't see any online. Oh, yes, we have Catherine Letourneau has her hand up.
Yes, hi. I just wanted to say that I appreciate the food pantry people cooperating with the Commission on Disabilities. They are not required to, they are not a municipal building, but they reached out and we talked to them, and they were very helpful and listening to our concerns, and we had our architect speak to them, and we are just thrilled to death to have worked with them, and they are a wonderful organization, and we are so happy to see them have their new building.
Great.
Thank you.
And in our narrative, we've indicated that the building is ADA compliant.
Did that not go through?
I think we're ready for a
So we
motion
have
then.
the motions, yeah.
So, Mr. Chairman, do you want two separate motions or same motion?
I think it can be in the same motion.
Okay. I've moved to approve the Wellfleet Food Pantry plans for construction of the pantry building, including location, layout, and size of the facility, and design of the building, and for the food pantry representatives to return for approval of landscaping plans when ready. and also move to approve. I was going to go into, the motion doesn't say schematics, but we could add that.
I was ad-libbing, so.
Oh,
whatever the
okay.
motion
With
says.
the- Yeah, in the motion. Do you want that added, or are you okay without it, without schematics?
Schematics can be added.
That was included in the location, layout, and size.
Layout size of the facility, including schematics and the design of the building, and for the food pantry representatives to return for approval of landscaping plans when ready, and also move to approve the draft ground lease. This authorizes the town administrator to sign the lease, or
If the board authorizes
Sure,
it. Yep.
absolutely, and authorize the town administrator to sign the lease.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Brian, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
And John, aye. Passes 5-0.
Said anything, and I know they all think this, it looks really good.
It does, it looks nice.
Schematics are great.
It does.
I can't wait to see this. And
Yes.
I just very thankful to have the food pantry.
That's good.
It's going to be great for the
and-
town. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It is great. Thank you. Thank you for all your work.
Okay, on to business item,
The wait.
on to business item E, to revote the Shellfish Revolving Fund.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No,
finish.
no, go ahead.
The shellfish warden is online, I
Oh,
believe.
is she? Okay. Nancy?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can.
Nancy?
Maybe she can't.
Can you hear us?
Maybe you can't
Sorry,
hear us?
now I can hear you. Sorry,
Okay.
I had, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think a little bit of this we talked about last night during the Wellfleet Forum, but the revolving fund has to first go to the Shellfish Advisory, then come to the Select Board, and then to town meeting when we talk about setting the limit of the expenditure for the upcoming fiscal year. So basically, when I went to Shellfish Advisory, I asked for their advice about purchasing a container, insulated container, that would allow us to house some of our oysters during the wintertime, because we ran out of pit space this year. So they approved an extra $15,000, bringing the 66 that I had originally put in up to 81,000, and so I would like to ask the Select Board to approve that new spending limit for town meeting next Tuesday. I'm happy to answer any questions about our propagation, and I did go into it a little bit yesterday, but we do get a lot of donations from shell fishermen, and in addition, we've been catching a lot more spat oyster seed on our spat collecting devices. So our inventory, if you will, has increased.
Chris?
I just wanted to say that the committee voted to recommend it. That's it.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay.
Anyone on the board? Questions?
Nope.
Any, see there's other members of the committee? Any? Okay.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve and recommend the Shellfish Revolving Fund article for annual Springtown meeting warrant as amended from $66,000 to $81,000.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Brian, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
John, aye. Passes 5-0. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you,
Everyone.
appreciate it.
Mr. Chair, just very quickly.
Yeah.
So is this going to be in the motion booklet this way?
Yes.
Awesome. All right.
It's
thank
already
you.
in the warrant this way.
That was awfully presumptuous.
Well, if town meeting would have voted it if we didn't, so.
Yeah, there was an error, but it worked out well.
Business item F, to revote the operating budget article to include the firefighters union and Teamsters union.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to ask that this be deferred to our next meeting because If you saw your emails today, we have also have a tentative agreement with the Teamsters and WEA. I have incorporated in a draft motion for council review, but it's only after the board looks at the numbers and talks through it. But we are ready, if the board agrees with this, at the meeting that we have Thursday, thank you. We will be able to move this forward. So I'd like to defer this and bring them all into one.
Okay.
Fine with me, it's 20 after 9.
Okay.
Item G, to approve the contract for Robert B. Auer. This involves the pilings at the marina. I just want to, if with your permission, preface this with, I know there were some concerns raised, including by me, having to do with the old broken and missing and vanished pilings, as to whether this was part of the contract to retrieve them, and I've been assured through the bidding documents that that is indeed the case.
Yes, that is correct. And it's one of the reasons why it was important to have an engineer on this project. There were too many twists and turns to this work. I can't tell you how much I've relied on Roy and WRS with this project. More than I anticipated, but I'm glad we have them.
Yeah.
So getting to the contract real quickly, we received 3 bids, with the low bid coming from Robert Auer, their marine division. We've had a pre-construction meeting at the marina to talk about the scope of work, to talk about mobilization of their barge, to talk about how it's going to work as we work to open the marina and at the same time work to replace the damaged piling. So we're working through all that. They've been great thus far, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the board?
Are we taking questions from the?
Yeah, go ahead. It says,
I didn't read it.
it says no, but
I'm sorry. I have 2 questions.
No.
One, are the pilings going to be driven the way that they should be, the way they grow in the woods, instead of upside down? Because every piling that the town of Wellfleet has taken out of the water is all broken off at the same point. It's at the first knot line. In order to do, you should turn them the other way, because what you've done is you've taken a crowbar and you've weakened it in the middle by driving it that way. If the crowbar is the other way, they won't break as often, number one. Number 2, are these pilings going to be driven with a hammer or vibrated in?
The vendor uses a vibratory pile, so.
How was it bid?
Go ahead.
Excuse me, how was it bid?
How was it bid?
Were there bid specifications on how the piling should be put in?
I don't believe so. I don't believe the bid document stipulated the type of barge that was to be used to drive the piles.
Not the barge, the actual tool on the barge. Because there's a big difference in cost versus one and the other. Did the 3 people bid this with the same tool?
Okay, so.
That was a simple question.
Wait for the answer, Al.
I will.
So the contract was bid 2 ways. One was we had a per pile price for using a barge-based pile driver and a land-based pile driver. I can't tell you what type of pile driver on each was bid, but that's what the bid stipulated. But again, this is way outside my area of expertise.
That's why we got the engineer.
That's right.
Well, one piling stays in the bottom twice as well as the other. So my question is,
Yeah, we're going to.
I get that, but my question is, did the 2 people who bid more money, and it doesn't matter to me who does it, were they going to do it so that they stayed in better? So what I'm saying is, if we're cutting corners, we're going to pay for this down the road. We do that on a regular basis.
I will tell you that both the engineer and Robert Auer have done this work many, many, many times, and we rely on our hired help to help us give us expert advice.
I don't disagree that these people have done this many, many times, but there's 2 different ways of doing it, and they've both done them many, many times. That's all. I mean, as long as the pilings are at least turned up, because I've been fighting for that for 20 years, and every time we don't want to do that, we replace them. That's all.
Mr.
Thank
Chair,
you.
may I ask a question to Mr.
Yeah.
Picard? Which way would you recommend we drive them?
I would drive them with a hammer.
Okay.
The advantage of the hammer is whatever's down there moves to the side, and it just stays there when you shake the shit out of them. The other problem is when you vibrate them, you don't know whether or not you're cracking the knots. That's the problem with these pylons are today is the fact that these are basically a farm-raised tree. Okay? So that each one of these trees grows like hell. I mean, the rings in them are huge. And then when you take the knot line, because the branches are all at the same elevation usually, and if you looked at the ones that were down the pier, 2 or 3 knots were exactly within 3 inches. You take that and you shake the hell out of it, it has a tendency to flex and break. If you drive them, they don't have a tendency to do that, because at that point you're hitting on them and driving. That's all, in my opinion. I'm not an engineer.
Yeah, go.
So can I address that?
Yeah, sure.
So Concom had originally spec'd that we only use a strike-based pile driver. The wait time for a strike-based pile driver was in 1.5 years minimum, according to the engineers who have been looking for this type of work out in the field. They just said, you're not going to find a strike-based pile driver for at least 1.5 years, is what we were told. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. So we asked, could we use a vibratory barge, because that's more available? And the answer was yes, just work with Concom on the plan for the work.
Alfred?
I'm not going to touch that because I think there's different opinions for that.
So through the chair,
Yes.
through the chair, I have every confidence in the procurement process conducted by admin. Thank you.
Well, I do too,
Yeah.
but I'm never averse to hearing from people who have been around this for a long time. Josh?
It's okay.
I got nothing.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry, I'm just-
I thought you had your.
I'm just clicking a
You're
pen.
just taking your pen.
Then I guess we're ready for a motion if no one has anything else. Item G.
Mr. Chair, I move
that's
to
okay.
approve the Robert
I like
Bauer
this one.
contract to construct the pilings at the marina for the amount of $295,278.35.
Second.
Roll call vote,
Ryan, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
and John, I. Passes
Thank you for
5.
doing that.
This is 5-0. Thank you, guys.
No, yeah.
A wise guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
So item F,
We used to that.
oh, no, we just did that.
We just did that. We did G, and now we're in a
Select board
select.
Oh, we're on select board reports. Okay. I do have one. I'm not going to put it off this time because I've put it off twice. I'll make it as quick as I can. As I guess everybody knows, I've been reaching out to fellow select board chairs on the Outer Cape with a view towards collaborating with our 4 boards on items where we could explore shared services, shared personnel, and find ways to cut expenses to the individual towns by doing so. Where we're at right now is I got all 4 board chairs. We met at the bookstore restaurant on April 16th and had a very productive meeting. And we have since then agreed that we need to proceed with a facilitator to guide a meeting of all 4 select boards. We are going to meet with the facilitator on Thursday at 1 o'clock virtually to work with her to find out how she can best help us and what it will cost, which we will then bring back to our appropriate select boards to discuss, to ask for a vote to pay each select board's share of the fee for the facilitator. We are hoping against hope to have a meeting of all 4 select boards sometime before the end of June, just as a heads up. The general idea being to explore where we can we agreed that using the term regionalization sometimes scares people, but discussing shared services and shared personnel and so forth is less threatening. Tom?
No, you could just, MOUs are much more user-friendly to the public than regionalization.
Yeah. So we'll see where we go with this. And of course, I'll have another report after we've had our, I'll have an agenda item after we've had our meeting with the facilitator.
And who is the facilitator?
Her name is Skye Frice-Cole.
Oh, yeah.
She's a local.
A local? I think she lives in Brewster now or Eastham. But she has a lot of experience at this sort of thing and came highly recommended from a number of people.
I think she was utilized for the,
Local comprehensive.
oh, I was thinking of the,
When it never, it didn't get finished.
the swimming pool thing.
She was. Yeah, she was probably for that too.
Yeah,
Okay,
at the regional pool thing.
yeah.
So that's all I have.
Mr. Chair, I haven't given a correspondence report since the 7th of April. It's 7 pages long. I'd rather not read it,
Please
so
do
if
not.
I may submit it to,
Please
do.
great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But I want to thank everyone that writes the select board.
Yes, I do
We
too.
read every single email you
We do.
send.
We do. And many we, ask about in our own way.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is there
Next
anything else from,
No. Tom,
Ryan, do you have anything?
No, just when we get topics for future agendas.
Okay. Tom?
Yeah, a couple of things. Just so you're aware, you signed off the wage and class contract at your last meeting. The notice to proceed has been provided. Jay put some emails out internally yesterday, well, it was actually late last week. They do an annual view of the beaches as they try to get ready for the summer season, and Jay has indicated to me that there is some severe erosion this year. If you go to not Cahoon,
Whitecrest.
it's been hit pretty bad. They're going to need to get some approved sand. He was thinking somewhere around 500 yard of sand. It may be more. The beach fund can cover the costs of this, but I just wanted the board to know that we're out getting ready for summer, and this was something that was discovered that's going to run us some money we hadn't anticipated, but there is money to cover this. The other thing for tonight only, because it's late, and that's my last one, there's two more things. We've started this week in Town Hall. All of the offices are getting fire strobe, non-sound. We have some sounding ones, but each office now will have a strobe. It's an ADA thing as well. So we're starting that kind of process to getting the little things out of the way that we can do fairly inexpensively. We'll have $65,000 or so next year to work on some things too, but we're starting that up as well. The other thing I would like to request the board to consider is putting the town administrator's report up on the agenda a little bit. I find that when we get to 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, not only is my attention span gone, but your attention span is gone too, and that's understandable when you've been sitting in a meeting for 4 hours. I'd like to try, starting at the beginning of the fiscal year, to try to move that up on the agenda a bit so that we have perhaps some more time for discussion than we have had the past several months.
Okay. We could put it right after public comment.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Great idea.
Perfect.
Okay.
Also, we'll talk about Memorial Day.
Yeah. Pastor Elsenson approached me several months ago concerned that we had not done anything really formal for Memorial Day. He is proposing, I don't have that sheet in front of me, but he would like to do a proposal on Memorial Day with a speaker and getting a sound system out there and getting the veterans involved. And I told him that I would bring that up. I didn't think it would be a use of town property per se, because it's a Memorial Day thing in front of Town Hall. And I didn't think the board would have any issues with us doing a Memorial Day presentation or ceremony. So I would just like, I don't think I need a vote on this, but I did want the board aware that we're working to put something together for Memorial Day.
No, that's great. I've been going to Eastham because they have one every year, so.
I just want to say that that was something that used to be done quite a bit, and it was Ernie that would lead that and made sure that happened Ernie Bauer, that made sure that there was a recognition of veterans on Memorial Day. It has kind of fallen to the wayside. I'm very happy to hear it, and I think it's a great idea.
And he approached me, it was too late last year when we talked, but we wanted to get it, the board has it, so we wanted to get it before you with at least a couple of weeks' time.
Good for the pastor.
Okay, topics for future discussion. Ryan, I know you had something.
I think we should talk about the future of the theater at what. Maybe we don't do anything, but I think, we should at least just have a quick conversation about it.
Is that what you say?
Okay.
If you don't mind, I'm just going to remind you that the board had agreed to talk about whether a committee can send a letter to another committee without board approval. And you said you were going, because it's unclear in the charter and the bylaws whether they can or they can't. Some committees do. SAB doesn't. They come before you before they send it to another committee. This is not to someone outside of the town. It's to committees that are in the town. So I'm just going to remind you, you said you'd talk about that.
You should have, there should be no intra.
I think you already answered that. I think
We did.
All right, intra, but anything inside, you're okay. Inside the
Okay, that's
organization.
fine. Then I misunderstood. Thank
Okay.
you. Disregard that.
You had me
Thank you for your
misunderstanding
time.
Okay.
We will.
Just trying to prolong it. Okay.
The policy, Tim is right. John brought this policy to our attention.
Yep.
Okay, minutes. It looks like we have quite a pile of them.
So-
You first.
Yeah, April 7th, page 2, there is an individual, and I apologize for not going back to the meeting, but it says, spoke about agreeing with Arcamano, but we don't know who spoke. So we need to add I don't think that's the best way to go about it. I think we just need to add the name of whoever it was. And then, that was April 7th. April 21st, page 10. I was the sole dissenting vote, but the numbers read 4-0 and it should read 4-1.
It's already been amended, thank you.
If there's nothing else, Mr.
What,
do
no,
you
I
have another?
Yeah, oh, I do.
amendments?
Yeah, I didn't know if
Okay,
Josh,
go
I
ahead.
didn't know if Josh was done yet, so.
All right.
Yes, April 28th minutes, like about 4/5 of the way down the page. Sentence that starts, and this is me, she and Gordon asked them to come up with a scenario where Wellfleet Elementary School didn't need to be closed. I would say we didn't ask them, sort of other committee members did, and so if we could change it to say the committee and consultants came up with one scenario where Wellfleet Elementary School wasn't closed.
Sure.
Okay, yeah,
And
thanks.
Send that to me.
Yes, I will.
And what was the date?
April
The
28th.
28th, yeah.
So April 7th, 21st, and 28th have had amendments. Okay.
And I will take a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the meeting minutes of April 7th as drafted.
It's amended.
I'm sorry?
As amended.
It's amended.
Oh, that isn't, okay. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong check marks. As amended, April 13th, 2026 as drafted, April 21st, 2026 as amended, and April 28th, 2026 as amended.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Brian, aye?
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
John, I hate to do this, but I'm going to have to
Mr.
ask for a
Chair.
motion to adjourn.
I would like to submit a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, thank you.
Roll call vote.
People are sleeping already.
Ryan, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Josh, aye.
And John, aye.
Okay,
Thank you, everyone.
9:40.
Yeah.